Chapter 1801. This would ensure his pill quality. This type of flame, combined with the spirit liquid that he released from the alive slain method, would be able to produce a few more medicine aura, allowing the pill quality to be even higher. At this time, all the alchemists were focused on concocting pills. The holy elixir of divine light would usually require 5 batches of medicinal herbs, and only 1 pellet would be produced. This would be a great test to alchemist. To Chen Shang, refining 1 pellet of every 5 sets of ingredients, no matter how good the quality of the Lingguangdan was, would be a waste. If he refining 1 pellet every time, then it would have a lot of value. According to what those alchemists said just now, Lingguangdan's quality was 10 times the best quality, and their prices were also 10 times more expensive. What are these alchemists doing? Are they not going to care about the loss of so many medicine aura? Chen Shang was shocked, because at this moment, the battle arena was shrouded in a strong medicinal fragrance, and all sorts of medicine aura were gathered together. These medicine aura came out from many of the alchemists' pill furnaces. He had to put 5 sets of ingredients in 1 pill furnace and refine them at the same time. If his control was insufficient, he could only release a few medicine aura to ensure the internal stability of the furnace. In comparison, the few famous Dan Saint titles were different. Although they would lose quite a few medicine auras when concocting pills, they did not have that many. Those medicine aura floating high in the sky were all pellets in Chen Zhang's eyes. If it wasn't for the fact that he was currently competing with them, he would have collected all of them and refined them into pellets. I'm about to condense the pill, I'll give it a try. Furnace had already produced 3 balls of energy that were shrinking. Just as the 3 balls of energy were about to condense into a pill, he immediately controlled the 3 balls of air to collide with each other, wanting to fuse them together. However, this was not what he wanted. The violent collisions of the 3 cyclones created an extremely strong explosion. With a loud bang, a dull sound came from the pill furnace. The lid of the pill furnace was blown off, flying high into the air by the violent force from the pill furnace. The defeated dragon blood pill turned into a very thick fog of blood. Like blood, it floated in the air, looking very beautiful and bewitching. It was like a stream floating in the sky. The furnace actually exploded. Although Chen Zhang's furnace had exploded, there were only a few alchemists who mocked him at the moment, because it had not been long since Chen Shang had refined a blood ginseng to such a degree, and it was already at the stage where he could condense pellets. If it was them, they would not be able to do it either. Furthermore, according to the blood ginseng that came out of the furnace, this level of medicine aura could at least produce 2. For a pill saint who only had the strength of a true god, this was extremely rare. Chen Shang immediately released his divine power and wrapped the medicine aura up, putting it into the pill furnace. Then, he covered it with the lid, placed it back inside the blood ginseng and continued refining. What is this guy doing? Does he want to use the least amount of medicinal ingredients to refine a Lingguangdan? Before this, he did not seem to have refined any pellets, not even a hint of fire energy or medicine aura leaked out. However, I never expected him to refine the blood ginseng to this extent, and he even used a broken pellet furnace. All of the alchemists present had already seen that Chen Shang had some skills, but they thought that without a long period of practice, it would be impossible for him to refine a Lingguangdan in such a short period of time. In the instant of the explosion, Chen Shang sensed that the 3 masses of qi had produced something. He thought that it was the so-called spirit light. It was just that he could not control it well, so he did not suppress the spirit light that was born, thus the explosion. In the moment of condensing a core, the clumps of qi that are controlling the pill will collide with each other and produce that kind of spiritual light. Chen Shang increased his speed and refined enough medicine aura to prepare to condense the pellet. This time, there were already 5 cyclones in the furnace. Although he had failed before, he was able to retrieve the medicine aura that had been lost in time and did not cause much damage. The 5 cyclones gradually contracted, and the moment they were about to turn into a pill, he controlled them to collide with each other. The pill furnace shook again, and even louder sounds rang out. Once again, he blew up the furnace. But this time he controlled it well. Even though the furnace had exploded, the lid did not fly up, nor did the medicine aura leave the furnace. Seeing that Chen Shang had failed once again, many alchemists started to gloat. In their eyes, it was impossible to cultivate a Lingguangdan in such a short period of time. Chen Shang looked at the interior of the pill furnace and was overjoyed. This is the spirit medicine aura. No wonder we need to refine more of them together. This way, we can produce even more of the spirit medicine aura. Originally, after the blood ginseng refined it, it was blood red in color, but right now, the spiritual energy within the pill furnace carried a faint golden glow, which was the spiritual light. This is enough to produce 2 Lingguang Dan. I wonder what would happen if we were to continue our charge. If not for this pill refining competition, Chen Shang would not have known about the existence of the Lingguang Dan so quickly. Following that, Chen Shang did something that no one could understand. He threw the rest of the blood ginseng into the pill furnace, which also meant that if he failed, there would be no chance for that. With his current strength, refining 8 sets of ingredients in one pill furnace was not a difficult thing, and in his opinion, it was a new challenge. He sealed the spiritual energy that he had refined earlier to the side, preventing it from interweaving with the blood dragon spiritual energy that had just been refined. After smelting 8 medicinal herbs, he would need to fuse them into a ball. The difficulty was 10 times higher than before, so he had no choice but to slow down. After 5 days had passed, alchemists in the arena had already opened the lid of the pill furnace. Many of the alchemists shook their heads and sighed, because they had not been able to concoct the sacred pill that had the spiritual light. All of these failed midway. Alchemists who did not open the furnace were progressing smoothly, and had high hopes of refining the Lingguang Dan. Chen Shang also did not open the lid of the pill furnace. In the past 5 days, his pill furnace had been very problematic, because he had controlled it very well and did not release any of his power, so no one knew what happened inside. For those gods in the audience stands, these 5 days weren't too long. They usually cultivated, at least for a few years or even up to 10,000 years. Thus, they were able to patiently wait for the results. It's about to begin. Chen Shang slowly took a deep breath and prepared to condense the pills. The medicine aura in the furnace had already been evenly divided into 8 big balls, and when they were about to condense into a pill, he had to control the air masses and fuse them together as fast as he could, so that light would be produced. Fortunately, it's a divine furnace. If it was my old Yanlong furnace, they would definitely have been blown to smithereens. The explosive force of the multiple medicine aura's collisions was not something he could suppress with his divine power. It was most likely due to the furnace bearing the majority of the impact. Very quickly, Chen Shang began to perform a spiritual attack. The 8 cyclones inside the pill furnace shot towards a point-like light. The distance and speed were the same, and the air cyclones themselves were in the same state, so as long as the instantaneous impact was fierce enough, it would fuse together and also produce a wave of air. Boom! Chen Zhang's pill furnace released another loud noise, causing all the alchemists to immediately look over. This time, it was a big commotion. Although there was no qi, the kind of vibration that came from the pill furnace made their hearts jump, as though the furnace would crack and explode at any moment. Chen Shang was also sweating cold sweat at this moment. Just now, he felt as if the pill furnace had exploded. He didn't know how the other alchemists did it, but they were actually so gentle, unlike him, who would cause such a commotion. Even though he was rough and barbaric when nurturing the spiritual light, the results were very good. The dense spiritual energy in the pill furnace made him extremely happy. I really didn't expect this kind of refinement technique to actually be able to increase the spiritual energy in the air. Furthermore, the quality is very good. This amount should be enough to condense 15 pills. Chen Shang checked the pill furnace, and after he found that there were no major problems, he released a large amount of divine power to carry out the final steps. Number 2, is there anything wrong with the pill furnace you gave him? It has already exploded 3 times. Wang Jinshi was curious as to what Chen Shang was doing. Although it had exploded, Chen Shang looked as if nothing had happened. Although this pill furnace is core, it is still very strong. It won't easily break into pieces when refining a low-grade saint pill. As for anything else, I don't know. Xiao Chou laughed. You guys don't have to worry, my master is a genius at refining pills, he will definitely refine that Lingguang Dan. Devil-killing heavenly god and the others did not believe Xiao Chou's words, because they had never seen Chen Zhang's godly skill in pill refining. Chen Shang had already divided the faint golden-colored spiritual qi from the blood dragon into 15 parts. Everything was going smoothly, all they needed to do was to condense the pill into a pill. Not good, this Lingguang Dan is not so peaceful when it condenses its core. Chen Shang tried to condense the cyclones into pills, but who knew that it would produce a strong repulsive force. If he wanted to press them together, it would definitely require a very strong force of God power, and he had to proceed carefully. Tai Chi. Chen Shang released a Taiji array from beneath each ball of air. If he did not do this, it would be impossible for him to continue, because even though he used a very powerful divine force, he still could not continue to compress it. Now that the Taiji array had been restricted, it was still very difficult to continue, but it would take a very long time to suppress them. I have to take my time. Chen Shang heaved a sigh of relief, but the pill furnace started to shake. Oh no, is it about to crack? A crack suddenly appeared on the surface of the pill furnace, showing just how powerful the energy produced by the 15 Lingguangdan was. Chapter 1802. Seeing Chen Zhang's cracked pill furnace, all the alchemist could not help but frown. Although Chen Zhang's pill furnace was broken, the low-grade holy pellet should not be able to keep it from bursting from the god-level material. Chen Zhang's pill furnace was only worth a little bit of divine money, but it was still a divine furnace after all. Only Chen Shang himself knew that it was because of the immense pressure that caused the divine furnace to crack. At that moment, he had no choice but to release more of his divine power to wrap around the furnace, preventing it from leaking any of his qi, or else he would fail. As long as a trace of the pill furnace was leaked, it would be like a broken dike, and the dense spiritual energy inside would rush out like crazy, uncontrollable. It can't be over. Chen Shang began to sweat more and more, suppressing and shrinking the balls of air with his divine power, as long as he could endure it for a while. Fortunately, he had used magic method furnace before, so he had released a magic method furnace like that from the inside of the divine furnace just in case. Now, even if he had a magic method furnace, it would still be very difficult to use it for the final condensing of pills. Because the pressure brought about by the 15 Lingguangdan being able to condense a core at the same time was too violent, so he could only endure it bit by bit. The divine furnace began to crack. If there was a better divine furnace, perhaps he wouldn't have to worry about it cracking. He didn't expect it to turn out like this. The divine furnace that he had bought was so powerful that even a medium-grade saint pill would be able to withstand it. Now that he had refined 15 of these Lingguangdan together, the pressure produced would be comparable to that of a Shengpin Holy Dan. Even if I have to risk my life, I still have to resist. Chen Zhang's current goal was not to win, but rather not to waste these 15 Lingguangdan that were about to be released. This was also his first time refining a Lingguangdan, and it looked like he was about to succeed. He couldn't afford to fail no matter what. Chen Shang had a lot of experience dealing with this kind of situation. While supporting himself with each step, the 15 Lingguangdan were also shrinking, and would condense into a pill very soon. However, there were already a lot of cracks on the outside of the pill furnace. What surprised the various deities was that even though the pill furnace was already in such a state of decay, there was still not a single trace of aura that leaked out. This kind of control was extremely terrifying. Those famous Dan Saint titles were all shocked in their hearts. While Chen Shang was refining the pellet, not a single bit of the medicinal power was lost between heaven and earth. Even though they had already done their best to control it, a lot of it had still been leaked. Chen Shang was currently refining 8 sets of medicinal herbs at the same time, but to be able to do this, one could see how terrifying his potential was. The pill furnace is about to break completely, Yuan Baibing said in a low voice. Sure enough, Chen Zhang's pill furnace suddenly turned into powder, and the golden red light suddenly surged out, especially the bright red blood light. Streaks of red light shot out in all directions, causing the entire arena to look like it was enveloped in a blood hell. Although Chen Zhang's pill furnace was broken, there was still a magic method furnace wrapped outside, and the medicine inside still did not leak out. Almost done. Chen Shang clenched his teeth, oblivious to everything that was happening around him. He did not know that many of the gods had released their divine powers just now, wanting to pierce through the magic method furnace that was emitting a blinding bloody light, but they were all blocked by penalty heavenly god. He doesn't even have a pill furnace, yet he can still continue. Yuan Baibing faced the glaring blood light and focused on the nervous Chen Shang. I saw it. It's 15 pills, and it looks like there's still Lingguangdan. He wants to refine 15 of them in one furnace. Devil-killing heavenly god shouted. Those flames are indeed extraordinary. From that ball of red light, Zhu Chao saw the weak silver flame that Chen Shang had released. The few Dan Saint titles were all in the arena. They were extremely clear about what was happening with Chen Shang. The rays of light that they were emitting was very common within the pill furnace, but it was very rare to see it being exposed. 15 pills. Chen Shang took a deep breath, exhausted his last bit of god power, and formed 15 Lingguangdan. The holy pellet was formed, the outside was surrounded by a golden light, the previous blood light had also disappeared, and 15 Lingguangdan floated in front of Chen Shang. Seeing the 15 Dragon Blood Saint Dan S, the entire competition grounds erupted into cheers and discussions because this was truly unbelievable. He was faster than all of the Alchemist S, and he had even refined 15 Lingguang Dan. Even those Dan Saint title S were only able to refine 1 out of 5 sets of medicinal herbs and was far inferior to Chen Shang. The heavenly alchemy really lives up to its name. Divine Female Palace's Rosy Clouds Dan Saint waved her hand and opened the lid, releasing the medicine aura inside. The outcome had been decided, and there was no need for her to continue. Chen Shang only smiled lightly at her. He also couldn't tell if his achievements was related to the heavenly alchemy or not. The other Dan Saint title who were previously full of confidence now had ugly expressions. They were actually defeated by a little kid, and furthermore, that kid had never refined a Lingguang Dan before. The alchemist S who had mocked Chen Shang earlier had long escaped. The strength that Chen Shang had displayed made even the Empyrean gods exclaim in their hearts, especially the few pill gods who were hidden here, all of them asking themselves if they could do the same as Chen Shang if they had used all their powers. Our devil-killing divine palace got first place. Devil-killing heavenly god let out a hearty laugh, then looked down at the other shrines, as if saying, we have decided to be the first in this competition. Although penalty heavenly god was expressionless, his heart was still shocked by Chen Shang. He understood Chen Shang better than him, and he was able to see everything that Chen Shang did in Divine Prison very clearly. Devil-killing Divine Palace has obtained victory in this competition, adding another point, he is currently ranked first. Penalty Heavenly God announced the results loudly. Everyone owed Chen Zhang's terrifying talent in pill refining to the heavenly alchemy. The other gods all now understood why the Hell Devil Emperor did everything in his power to obtain Chen Zhang's heavenly alchemy. If they could obtain it and give it to the alchemist gods, wouldn't they be able to concoct even better divine pellets and gain even more strength? The powers who had enmity with the devil-killing divine palace were now even more worried, because Chen Shang becoming a pill god would definitely be disadvantageous to them. A divine palace with a pill god like that as their leader was extremely terrifying, and one had to know, a powerful pill god was unable to even be measured with money. Even a god of fortune would have to be respectful to those pill gods. Yao Shuang and Chen Shang praised Chen Shang all the way back from the arena. Devil-killing heavenly god was grinning from ear to ear as he patted Chen Zhang's shoulders. Chapter 1803. The first part of the devil-killing divine palace was taken by Chen Shang, and he even suppressed the other outstanding Dan Saint title S of the other halls. This made the devil-killing heavenly god even happier, and he sneered at the other Dan Saint title S of the Great Hall. Although he was not his disciple, Chen Shang was still a disciple of his devil-killing divine palace. Even if he were to leave the devil-killing divine palace in the future, he would definitely not sever his relationship with the devil-killing divine palace. Don't be too complacent, we only got 1 point. There's still a lot of competition left. The god of fortune laughed coldly, it seemed like he did not care about it, but seeing that the devil-killing heavenly god had such a great potential, he was jealous. As long as Chen Shang could become the pill god in the future, he would definitely protect devil-killing divine palace. To the god of fortune, the threat of the devil-killing divine palace would be even greater. Although the relationship between Wealth Divine Palace and himself was not that bad, it had never been very good. Furthermore, the god of fortune was secretly colluding with the Hell Devil Emperor, causing the latter to be even more unhappy. In the second round of the competition, the main point of the competition is to quickly refine divine weapons. After the competition, there's still a test of the strength of divine weapons. Penalty Heavenly God's voice silenced the entire audience. Chen Shang and the others looked at Yuan Bibing. Only Yuan Bibing was an expert in smithing, and he relied on smithing to become the wealthier war god in the devil-killing divine palace. Little soldier, you must win. If you lose, HMPH, all of you will be punished. Devil-killing heavenly god laughed sinisterly and looked at Ren Tianyang and the others. If you lose and drag us down with you, don't blame us when the time comes. Ren Tianyang patted Yuan Bibing's shoulder and said, do your best. Zhu Chao and the other disciples from the first batch also had grave expressions on their faces because they would also be punished. This gave Yuan Bibing a lot of pressure. If he lost, his junior and junior brothers would definitely be implicated by him, and at that time, he would definitely not have a good ending. Yuan Bibing smiled indifferently. Don't worry, I will definitely get the second score. The arena was already filled with all sorts of refining materials. These were all used to refine divine artifacts, and what kind of divine artifacts were to be forged was also a rule. Each shrine can only send one refiner. Let's go up, Penalty Heavenly God shouted. Yuan Bibing walked to the arena. There were a total of 200 refiners with him, and some of the divine halls had given up. It was obvious that they did not want to make a fool of themselves. You will be divided into two groups. One group will be refining divine weapons, the other will be refining protective gear, such as armor or shields, and the measure of one's tolerance will be selecting the refiners who will be the fastest in each batch, allowing them to refine their divine weapons and defensive gear to attack each other. If one side is damaged, then one side is defeated. If neither side is damaged, or if both sides are damaged, then there will be no victors in this round's competition. The devil-killing heavenly god snorted. This rule is a little deceitful. Everyone, you can begin receiving your materials now. After I announce this, you can begin. You only have 10 days. The refiners all went to get the materials for the refining process. All of them were average quality, only capable of refining slightly decent low-grade divine tools. If the refiners were skilled enough, the divine tools they refined would be comparable to medium-grade weapons. Yuan Bibing was divided into the divine weapon refining group and the attacking group. He took out the furnace and placed the materials inside. Although there was a huge difference between refining and refining pills, there were many steps to it. Second brother, what is it that you want to refine? If it were me, I would forge a hammer. The fat fifth brother said. He specializes in making swords and sabers. It seems like he is here to make divine sabers. These materials are enough for him to make a good low-grade divine saber. If he sells it, he can sell it for $30,000 to $40,000. Ren Tianyang said. It's so easy to earn money. It's much faster than refining pills. Chen Shang exclaimed. He had also heard that good divine tools had a huge market. Zhu Chao said. That is what I said, but it is not easy to sell it. The refining industry is much easier than refining pills, so god equipment are sold everywhere, and if you buy them back, they can be used for a long time. Wang Jinshi nodded his head. In the second brother's shop, there are many things that have been on sale for a long time that cannot be sold. Begin, Penalty Heavenly God suddenly shouted, and the refiners immediately released their flames and began smelting the materials. The refining process was the same as the refining process, it was also extremely complicated and required time. In Chen Zhang's eyes, refining pills was much more complicated than refining pills, because in order to memorize a large number of spirit grain, he had to integrate and organize the various combinations of spirit grain, producing a better effect. In addition, there were other areas that required attention, such as the special refining techniques needed to absorb divine power, as well as the control of strength. Chen Shang had refined them before, but he did not use many spirit grain as to refine them. If he wanted to refine a divine weapon, it would not be that easy. Previously, when he combined the refining methods with pill refining, it was to draw spirit grain on the pill. Pills were the energy source, and with some special spirit grain, he could release a very strong power. Later on, when he grasped the heavenly alchemy, he did not continue researching in this area. However, he now planned to put in great effort in this aspect. He decided to name this pill, Soldier Pill. Like those divine talismans, it had great offensive power and could be used as a weapon in the first round. Refining a divine talisman was difficult and expensive, but Chen Shang needed these kind of things to protect himself, so he had already made this plan in his mind long ago. After 7 days, Yuan Bibing successfully refined a black divine blade. It looked very ordinary, but it was done in a hurry, as long as he could ensure enough strength, otherwise, as long as there were other blacksmiths who completed it faster than him, he would be punished. The divine weapon refiners all shook their heads and sighed, because they saw that the divine blade in Yuan Bibing's hand was very ordinary. Moreover, the divine weapons they refined themselves were pretty good, but because Yuan Bibing was fast, they didn't have the chance to display it. Therefore, this rule was somewhat tricky. However, it could also be considered a rather harsh test. To refine the strongest divine weapon in the shortest amount of time, one had to have a solid foundation. Very quickly, the batch that was refining the defensive equipment had already come to an end. It was the Wealth Divine Palace's refiner who had refined a golden shield, and it looked much better than Yuan Bibing's. Now, let me test them. Give me the shield and blade. Penalty Heavenly God opened up his hands and sucked the blade and shield over, colliding with it in the air. Pung! After a muffled bang, the black blade often pierced through the golden shield. Devil-killing Divine Palace has obtained victory in this competition, extra points. After the Penalty Heavenly God announced the results, Yuan Bibing heaved a sigh of relief. The disciples of the devil-killing divine palace were the same. Chapter 1804. The devil-killing divine palace was already far ahead of them. The other gods were all feeling uncomfortable, but there was nothing they could do. Although the devil-killing divine palace was poor, the disciples they could cultivate were indeed not bad. However, the devil-killing heavenly god did not let Yuan Bibing go, but rather let him go. This was his second son. Senior brother is proficient in array Dao, then refining must also be very powerful. Yuan Bibing was a little surprised. Why did the devil-killing heavenly god not send Zhu Ming up there? Zhu Ming said, I am only proficient in array Dao, and do not know anything about artifact forging, so I am not interested in it. Rest assured, I will definitely win. I will definitely not let you guys suffer the punishment. Zhu Ming was the son of the devil-killing heavenly god, as well as the mysterious first batch of disciples. He did not have any aura on him, and gave off a very mysterious feeling to others, so they did not know how strong he was. For the devil-killing heavenly god to send Zhu Ming out, it meant that he had a very good understanding of Zhu Ming's array Dao techniques. The alchemy, refining, and setting up of arrays were just for show, and in the following matches, they would be the focus of attention. At that time, many disciples would come out to fight, and they would also get many points. As long as you set up a small formation, the main function of the formation is defense. After you set up the formation, place a rock inside, and as long as it is not destroyed, you will be awarded 1 point. The penalty heavenly god said. The devil-killing heavenly god was a little dissatisfied and shouted, how can this be? Penalty heavenly god ignored him and announced the start of the competition. There were 2 matches in a row, in which devil-killing divine palace obtained first place and the other halls obtained 0 points. That was why he made this decision at the last moment. This bastard, devil-killing heavenly god was a little angry and snorted. You only have 3 days to set up the formation. When the time comes, I will release a force to attack your formation. As long as the stone in your formation is not destroyed, the shrine you're staying in will receive a point. The penalty heavenly god floated in the air. The array wasn't very large, but if it was too small, it would be difficult to display the full strength of the array. These array masters were currently using their own divine powers to inscribe spirit grain S, and they also needed to construct an energy source, one that was also condensed from their own divine powers. The formation that Zhu Ming had set up was only the size of a wash basin, but compared to the others, the formation that he had set up was extremely small. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. There were many people who hadn't prepared well, but after sensing the pressure from the sky, they had no choice but to withdraw from the arena. This power was released by the penalty heavenly god, and many of the formation stones below were shattered, leaving only a dozen or so undamaged, showing that these formation arrays were able to withstand trials. Deities' temples that were able to set up these kind of formations were all fairly powerful deities' temples. Of course Zhu Ming's array formation was one of them. Other than that, there were also Hell Divine Palace S, Fire Divine Palace S, Wealth Divine Palace S, and other deities. In this way, the pill, formation, and equipment were all finished. The following matches would also result in him gaining many points. The next battle is also what everyone is looking forward to the most. The penalty heavenly god was also the same, because in the battles later on, they could also see the great battle between the gods, the disciples of many deities Templar. They are divided into 3 levels: Empyrean God, Profound God, and True God. Forget about the God of Heaven. Even if the Profound God were to fight, the noise would be extremely loud. Seeing that everyone was worried, penalty heavenly God said, this arena can withstand the attacks of the gods. Do not underestimate all divine palaces. Only the junior generation were worried. Those old gods knew how much effort the all-divine palaces had put into building this place. There is a time limit for the competition here. If the victor is not decided within the specified time, then the points will not be obtained. It can be considered a tie and only victory can be scored. First, the Empyrean Gods battle. Each temple will send 4 Empyrean gods into the arena to engage in a chaotic battle. This hourglass is over, and those still lying on the ground will be eliminated. The remaining Empyrean gods will enter the next round. The hourglass wasn't very large, it probably only lasted for a single meal. It wasn't too long, and very few Empyrean gods would be able to be knocked down in such a short period of time. Empyrean gods were very powerful creatures, after all. Zhu Chao, you husband and wife go. Zhu Ming, Yun Ling, you two stay here and watch. Devil-killing heavenly god's face turned serious. This was a huge battle. If he went too far, it would mean that he had the advantage, and at that time, the penalty heavenly god might even make trouble for him. That hourglass was too short. It was impossible for so many Empyrean gods to fall in such a short period of time. Chen Shang had originally thought that a great war between gods would happen, but who knew that only 50 or 60 of them were going to happen? There were 300 deities Templar, and each deity's Templar had 4 spots. However, so few deities were present right now. There was only one wealth divine palace who went there, and many shrines were filled with one god after another. Ren Tianyang observed for a while and was a little confused. Wang Jinshi asked, "Master, why did the great temples only send one god?" Devil-killing heavenly god said, "Because penalty heavenly god will have other means later. Great chaos is not an ordinary war, did you see that? Penalty heavenly god did not float to the sky, which means, he will also participate in the battle later because he is also a god. Though is definitely a upper heavenly god, and might even be the kind that was close to becoming a supreme god. The disciples of the various divine gods were definitely not as powerful as him. It doesn't matter even if you send a little more god over. If both of our devil-killing divine palaces gods resist, then we will have a chance of obtaining 2 points. Yuan Baibing said. Devil-killing heavenly god said in a low voice, "Look at the god of heaven, that wealth divine palace. Fire divine palace and the war god shrine have sent out, all of them are the weakest. Wealth divine palace did not send out his 4 disciples, it is clear that they do not plan to send anyone else. You might not know about penalty heavenly god's temperament, but many old god knows, as long as penalty heavenly god makes a move, nothing will go unscathed, even the disciples of the old god of heaven will find it hard to resist." Zhu Ming was even more confused. "Then why did you send Big Brother out? Zhu Chao and his wife are very strong and can block it. You just need to watch. Zhu Chao and Xuanzhi will definitely be able to block it." Devil-killing heavenly god was very confident. Chen Shang was confused. Didn't they say that it was a chaotic battle, and now it looked like the penalty heavenly god was testing these young gods. "It's about to begin. All of you should disperse." Penalty heavenly god was expressionless. He was currently standing in the middle of the arena, the hourglass in his hands was already floating in the air using his divine power. "Begin." When penalty heavenly god shouted, the hourglass flipped and began to leak its way through. Seeing the attitude of the penalty heavenly god, it was indeed just as the devil-killing heavenly god had said. The penalty heavenly god had also joined the battle. When Zhu Chao and Yao Shuang saw that the penalty heavenly god's chi was not right, they were shocked and immediately sent a sound transmission to him. At the same time, the penalty heavenly god had already made his move, and with a roar, streams of purple lightning appeared in the battle arena. In just a few blinks of an eye, more than 10 demigods had been knocked down to the ground, their bodies charred and smoking by the violet lightning. The lightning was in the arena, and the arena was enveloped by the array formation. Chen Shang was unable to judge how strong the lightning was from the array formation, but he was sure that it was powerful. If not for that, the lower gods would not have died instantly. This penalty heavenly god is indeed powerful. Is this the strength of the god of heaven in the god of heaven palace? Are the god of fortune and the fire god so powerful? Chen Shang saw that the battle arena was filled with lightning and thunder, while half of the gods had already fallen. The Great War did not happen, but rather, the penalty heavenly god fought against 70 or so Empyrean gods. Originally, Chen Shang thought that the time inside the hourglass was too short, but at this moment, it was extremely difficult for Zhu Chao and the others to endure. Penalty heavenly god is still the same as always. I wanted to abuse these juniors a bit, but that old devil slayer didn't let his wits go, and actually let his son suffer a little. The god of fortune smiled. There are many matches that can be scored, there is no need for us to lose here. This was also the reason why the god of fortune and the other Empyrean gods did not send out their outstanding disciples. Xuanzhi, use the god-slaying profound cold technique. Zhu Chao said to Yao Shuang with a serious face. The god-slaying profound cold technique, the skills used by the devil-killing divine palace, didn't they all start with the devil slayer? The spectators were all shocked. Just by hearing the name, one could tell that it was a very powerful technique. I'm not only going to exterminate the devil. I will also go and deal with that despicable god. Devil-killing heavenly god laughed coldly. This penalty heavenly god might not be able to do as you wish today. Penalty heavenly god waved his hand and controlled a bolt of lightning as thick as a water jar towards Yao Shuang. When it struck down, it produced a deafening loud sound. It was extremely tyrannical. Yao Shuang didn't avoid it, but a faint golden fog appeared around her body. Her white dress was covered in thin ice and the cold air was thick. The purple lightning struck her body but did not injure her. If it had been any other Empyrean god, they would have fallen by now. I'll hold him. You deal with the others. Zhu Chao had disappeared, but her voice still echoed in the arena. The ground. Chen Shang saw a white light suddenly appear on the ground of the penalty heavenly god. The white light seemed to have a suction force, absorbing all the purple lightning that the penalty heavenly god released, guiding the lightning to strike onto the penalty heavenly god's body. Penalty heavenly god was tall and sturdy. At this moment he was struck by countless of sudden purple lightning bolts, making him look even more mighty. These were purple lightning bolts he had released, of course they could not harm him. Law of Light, HMPH. Penalty heavenly god stomped his foot hard, causing the entire arena to tremble violently, and the white light Zhu Chao turned into scattered. The gods who were struck by her jade palm would be frozen and unable to move. After that, Zhu Chao would lead the purple lightning to strike the gods who were frozen to death. Penalty heavenly god continued to summon lightning to attack Yao Shuang and Zhu Chao, but Zhu Chao was able to control the lightning. Lightning is also light. I have the law of light, so I can freely control it. Zhu Chao had disappeared without a trace at this time, and had already merged into the light. Chapter 1805. This kind of shocking strength made the Hell Devil Emperor secretly worry. The first batch of disciples of the devil-killing heavenly god had arrogantly made an appearance, and it seemed that the devil-killing heavenly god was doing this on purpose to intimidate the divine halls that wanted to ally with the Hell Divine Palace. It was not easy to defeat the penalty heavenly god, but as long as they could delay it, it would be fine, because the time of the hourglass was not very long. As long as the sand was emptied, it would be considered as a victory. This was originally a competition that the penalty heavenly god had fought, but who would have thought that it would now be the time for Zhu Chao and his wife to display their powers. The power of frost released by Yao Shuang was extremely tyrannical. Many Empyrean gods who were sealed in ice didn't even have time to react before they were struck by the laws of light and were guided by the lightning released by the penalty heavenly god by Zhu Chao. Therefore, both Yao Shuang and Zhu Chao did not use much power. Before long, the other Empyrean gods had already been struck unconscious by penalty heavenly god's violent lightning. The disparity between an infernal realm god and an upper heavenly god was so great, even though they were both Empyrean gods. Right now, there was only penalty heavenly god and Zhu Chao's wife on the fighting stage. The penalty heavenly god was constantly releasing lightning and thunder. Even though he already knew that Zhu Chao could control the lightning that he released, he still did it. Yao Shuang and Zhu Chao secretly transmitted their voices to each other at any time. With the two of them working together, even the penalty heavenly god would find it difficult to defeat them in a short period of time. HMPH. Penalty heavenly god suddenly snorted, his voice resonating in all directions. A sound wave that could be seen with the naked eye appeared in the battle arena and rippling outwards. Yao Shuang had just released a formless wave of divine cold energy, but when she approached the penalty heavenly god, she was actually blasted away by the strange sound waves. Zhu Chao was still nowhere to be seen. At the moment, the sunlight was extremely intense, and Zhu Chao, who had merged with his light rule spiritual bead, was able to freely use the power of the laws of light. Boundless light. Zhu Chao's voice transmitted outwards. The scorching sun in the sky seemed to be enraged, as it radiated with even more intense rays of light. The temperature of the surrounding area frantically rose. The light only shone on the arena, but the spectators were all extremely excited. Thankfully, there were deities Templars Empyrean gods who were using their divine powers to protect their disciples. Otherwise, the weak true gods would not be able to withstand the light and might be melted. This kind of intense light not only produced a very scorching power, but it also caused the eyes to burn with an incomparable pain. Everyone present was quite strong, otherwise, the sudden appearance of that light might have blinded them. The most amazing thing was that the high temperature produced by this light could directly melt away divine power. Zhu Chao was currently hidden within the strong light. Even if penalty heavenly god used his divine power to sense his position, it would still be difficult for him to do so, because his divine power would be melted away by the strong light while within Zhu Chao's light domain. The strong light continued to shine for a short while before suddenly disappearing. Zhu Chao had already appeared in front of the penalty heavenly god, while Yao Shuang was behind him. Do we really have to seriously fight? Zhu Chao clenched his fists as though he was holding on to two little suns. They overflowed with sunshine, with flames shooting out of his eyes. Just his posture made people feel that he was extremely powerful. Penalty Heavenly God did not reply, but golden cold ice had already appeared under his feet, and it spread to his knees in a blink of an eye. The golden-colored ice looked extremely terrifying, the air mist that gushed out was like flames dancing in the air, the surrounding of Penalty Heavenly God's feet were covered in this golden-colored ice, continuously emitting this cold air that resembled dancing flames, causing Penalty Heavenly God to look as though he was standing in the midst of this flame. Many of the god had already seen that Zhu Chao and Yao Shuang were not easy to deal with. When the time is up, devil-killing Divine Palace will obtain 2 points. After Penalty Heavenly God finished speaking, his body flashed with a white light and the golden ice beneath his feet suddenly disappeared. Not even a trace of the fog remained. However, in order to fight, Penalty Heavenly God had to fight 1-on-2, and it was even a battle against a husband and wife who had great mutual understanding. Even if they could win the battle, it would definitely take a very long time. The sand in the hourglass had leaked out completely, and the only ones who could still stand were Yao Shuang and Zhu Chao. This way, the devil-killing Divine Palace had already gotten 5 points, which was far ahead of the rest of the shrines. Zhu Chao and Yao Shuang laughed at each other, then disappeared in a flash and reappeared behind devil-killing Heavenly God. The devil-killing Heavenly God sneered at the God of Fortune. The God of Fortune had 100 billion bet between them, but the devil-killing Divine Palace was already leading by a lot, and the God of Fortune was a bit anxious. Losing 100 billion was a small matter for him, so losing face was not good. If he sends out his 4 great disciples, he might be able to hold on until the end. It seems like he doesn't have much confidence in his own disciples. The devil-killing Heavenly God said this to Ren Tianyang and the others, purposely speaking loudly so that the God of Fortune could hear him. The fight between the gods had already ended, because only the devil-killing Divine Palace's disciples could stand at the very end. There was no competition at all between the devil-killing Divine Palace, and so the devil-killing Divine Palace had directly obtained the victory of the heavens competition. Next was the Profound Gods competition. The competition at the Profound God will now begin. The various shrines are invited to send out 3 disciples with the strength of Profound God into the arena. The rules have not been announced yet. If every temple sends 3 Profound Goddess, they will be considered close to 1,000 Profound Goddess. If they were to fight in the arena together, it would definitely be chaotic. Tian Yang, Little Jun, Fatty Wu, I won't say anything threatening when the 3 of you go up. You are all aware of the consequences of losing. Devil-killing Heavenly God laughed. He was currently in a good mood and did not use his sinister look to threaten them. Ren Tianyang and the other 2's hearts were heavy. They could even get points if they went ahead to compete, so even if they weren't under the pressure of being punished, they would still be under a lot of pressure right now. Soon enough, around 1,000 Profound Goddess appeared on the arena. There were a few other small and medium-sized divine halls, but the ones sent out weren't very powerful, as most of them were lower or middle-ranked Profound Goddess. Only those powerful divine halls sent out Profound Goddess with war god names. Not only are the Profound Goddess of the Great Temple war gods, they are also level 5 war gods. Tai Chang said, the level 5 war gods assessment is the limit of the Profound God, right? Only by becoming a god can one have enough strength to conduct the level 6 war gods examination. Chen Shang asked, what if it's a stage 9 martial immortal? Xiao Chou looked at devil-killing Heavenly God and said, main Heavenly God is a stage 9 martial immortal. It's not that difficult. I passed it once. I heard that the fire god only passed it twice. Devil-killing Heavenly God casually said, there are only a few 9 segments, I am one of them. Hee. So powerful. Chen Shang looked at Zhu Chao and the others, and asked, what about the other few senior brothers? They can barely make it to 8 Duan, they haven't even passed the exam. When the competition is over, I'll make them take a War God tablet and it'll take a lot of money to take the War God exam. If we can win the God of Fortune, then we'll have $100 billion. Devil-killing Heavenly God looked happy as if he had already won. Master, do we have a share? Wang Jinshi asked. 100 billion is a huge amount, even Master would not be able to spend all of it. Devil-killing Heavenly God laughed, when the time comes, I will reward you with 10 million gold. You all have to be clear that I am the one who made the wager. Without the Supreme Flame Pill, would the God of Fortune be willing to use 100 billion to make the bet? We get 10 million each. It's only 10 million, but it's a lot. No, you guys split the 10 million. So petty, Wang Jinshi whispered. I did this for your own good. All these years, I have been deliberately making all of you poor, aren't you guys also very powerful? The god of fortune is very rich, but how many points did his disciple get? Don't think too much about that 100 billion. Quote. Although Zhu Chao and the others did not speak, they secretly despised the devil-killing heavenly god. He was actually so stingy, and they were already used to it. Penalty heavenly god began to announce the rules. He took out a basket of round beads and shouted, "There are 100 round beads inside. As long as you can get them before the hourglass ends, you can stay in the arena." After saying that, the penalty heavenly god threw out his strength, and a basket of round beads fell on the stage. Hundreds of figures jumped up from the ground, and rushed towards the round beads. At the same time, chaotic battles broke out. The scene was extremely chaotic, and explosions rang out without end. All types of divine force flew out, and all types of colors flourished with brilliance. Bastard, the bead has been broken. This is mine. It's mine now, eh? In order to snatch the bead, a large number of profound god had used their strongest power to obtain the bead's defense, so the other profound god could not snatch it away. Ren Tianyong, Yuan Baibing and the fat fifth brother, they had all already gotten their hands on the bead, and these fellows didn't just take one, but a few. Many profound goddess wanted to attack them, but the fat fifth brother released a strange gray energy that formed a vortex and surrounded the three of them. A profound god wanted to stab in with his sword, but when he realized that the energy was strange, it was already too late. His entire arm was sucked into the vortex, and then shattered into pieces. The fat fifth brother was an expert in this kind of strange and violent energy. If he wanted to attack this profound god, which was a cyclone, he would have to bleed if he did not have the slightest bit of strength. However, these profound god were definitely not stupid enough to fight with Ren Tianyong and the others, who were powerful profound god. If they had this kind of skill, of course they would go and snatch away those weak profound god. After the hourglass was used up, only 37 profound goddess would be able to get the bead. There were originally 100 round beads, but who would have known that these round beads were very weak? They had destroyed a lot during the fight to steal them, and what made many profound god angry was that Ren Tianyong and the other two had taken more than 20 round beads. The rules also did not specify how many beads each profound god could take away, so those profound goddess were helpless against them. Chapter 1806. If you can get those beads, you can enter the next round. If you can't, you have to leave the arena. All of the profound goddess who were still able to stay on the fighting stage were pretty strong. Penalty heavenly god took out 2 more black balls. This time, it was larger, and required a person to open both arms to pick it up. Why are there only 2 of them this time? Wang Jinshi was a little worried. There should only be 2 profound goddess in the next round. Sure enough, the penalty heavenly god said, the key thing to do next is to snatch a black stone orb like this one. This time, the black stone orb is very hard and won't be damaged that easily. Every shrine only has 1. If you have 2, it would be considered a violation of the rules. After saying the rules, the penalty heavenly god turned the hourglass upside down and threw out the 2 black stone balls. Boss, we will snatch it from you and let you enter the competition at the back. Even though he looked fat, but he was extremely agile. He turned into a shadow, passed by the black stone ball and picked it up. So heavy. The fat fifth brother quickly fell and at the same time, sent a sound transmission to Ren Tianyong and Yuan Baibing, come here and protect me. Yuan Baibing and Ren Tianyong had already flown over, surrounding the fat fifth brother and blocking the attacks of the surrounding profound god. These guys are hard to deal with. Boss, take it. After the fifth brother passed the black stone orb to Ren Tianyong, he released a spinning cyclone that covered them up, just like before. After Ren Tianyong received the black stone orb, he shouted to Yuan Baibing, second brother, take out the divine artifact and block it for a while. The fifth brother's defense will be broken through very soon. Yuan Baibing immediately released a huge cauldron and covered the black stone orb inside, then sat on top of the huge cauldron. Leave this place to me and OL, 5, go beat those guys up and run away. Yuan Baibing said, it's best if they don't break through the fifth brother's barrier of tornado. Penalty heavenly god never said that divine weapons were not allowed to be used, thus the other profound goddess had already taken out their expensive divine weapons and started to attack Ren Tianyong and the others. This bunch of bastards, why aren't they attacking the Wealth Divine Palace? Ren Tianyong cursed in a low voice. He had also obtained a black stone orb from the Wealth Divine Palace, but because the Wealth Divine Palace's power was too great and because her relationship with many of the great temples was not bad, she did not snatch it away from him. Only the two women from the Divine Female Palace and a few profound goddess from the other divine halls were fighting with the Wealth Divine Palace. Second brother and fifth brother, you guys try your best to stop it. Don't let the stone orb get taken away. I'll go to the Wealth Divine Palace's side and break their defense. Ren Tianyong whispered to Yuan Bibing and the others. Alright, leave it to us. Originally, Ren Tianyong planned to run away from the profound goddess who came to snatch the stone balls, but when he saw that there were no profound goddess to snatch them from, he became angry and wanted to go over and cause trouble. If the Wealth Divine Palace were unable to obtain the black balls right now and were unable to enter the later fights, then the pressure on them wouldn't be that great. There were only two profound goddess in the Wealth Divine Palace, so Ren Tianyong felt that they were still easy to deal with. Seeing Ren Tianyong running out, the surrounding profound goddess were all slightly worried. They had already prepared to surround and attack Ren Tianyong, but who would have thought that Ren Tianyong would suddenly fly over to the side of the Wealth Divine Palace. Devil Slayer Palm. After Ren Tianyong went over, he released a huge golden palm that pressed down on the opponent like a mountain. The god power was extremely dense and one could tell that Ren Tianyong had gone all out. Profound God on the Wealth Divine Palace's side thought that Ren Tianyong and the others would do their best to protect the Black Stone Orb, and with the Black Stone Orb in hand, they wouldn't come over to snatch it. Ren Tianyong's attack was very sudden. The Profound God's defense was originally only a few Profound Gods that were slightly weaker than them. It could be considered as an easy task. They never expected that Ren Tianyong, who was in a very bad situation, would come running over. The gigantic golden palm came smashing down, accurately hitting the two Profound Goddess and breaking their defenses. Although it was two of their Profound God's god power barriers, when facing Ren Tianyong's attack that was about to lose its life, their shield was instantly broken. Wealth Divine Palace, your Profound God isn't too good either. Ren Tianyong let out a cold laugh, and then unleashed two more palms with the Demon Punisher palm. These were all Ren Tianyong's angry attacks, causing the entire arena to shake violently. The strength of the Wealth Divine Palace was not bad. Even when facing such an attack from Ren Tianyong, they were still able to preserve that black stone orb. Ren Tianyong, haven't you heard the rules? If your devil-killing divine palace possesses two black stone balls, it would be considered a violation of the rules. The Wealth Divine Palace shouted. I didn't say I wanted it. I just didn't want you to have it. Ren Tianyong took out a black longsword and in a flash, he arrived at the side of the Profound God who was holding onto the black stone ball. He thrust it out a few hundred times like lightning. The sword images were like a storm, enveloping the entire sky and dancing around. Wealth Divine Palace was unable to dodge, and had no choice but to release the stone orb he was carrying, taking out two long blades to block. His reaction was very fast, and at the same time, Profound God was sitting on top of the black stone orb. Get lost. The other Profound God waved his whip and waved it at Ren Tianyong. Ren Tianyong wielded his divine sword and would not be able to get close. It would be best to attack from afar. Ren Tianyong punched towards the direction where the long whip had come from, creating a dazzling golden formation. This was a demon-destroying chi formation, which LV Gen had modified in the past to have very strong defensive capabilities. Devil Slayer Tornado Thrust. Ren Tianyong unleashed a few sword attacks, causing the Profound God who was guarding the stone ball to enter a defensive state. Unable to retaliate, he then quickly shot out towards the stone ball below him. A gust of wind surged out from the sword blade, penetrating through the Profound God's defenses and struck straight at the stone ball. His sword released a strong force, sending the black stone orb underneath the Profound God flying. When the stone balls flew out, the other Profound Goddess quickly followed suit. The one who caught the black stone balls was actually a middle-aged man in black robe, a Hell Devil Emperor. Ren Tianyong's objective had already been reached, so he quickly returned to Fatty Wu and Yuan Bibing's side. They were forced to the point where they couldn't even breathe, and after Ren Tianyong rushed back, he started to stab the Profound Goddess that were attacking Yuan Bibing's giant cauldron. If you don't want to die, then scram. Ren Tianyong shouted angrily, filled with killing intent. The black sword in his hand trembled, his battle intent soaring to the heavens. With Ren Tianyong joining them, Yuan Bibing and the fatty felt much more relaxed. They could hold on for a little longer. They are all very strong. Chen Xiong looked very carefully. As one of the top 10 war gods in devil-killing Divine Palace, he was actually able to shake two of Wealth Divine Palace's Profound Goddess. From this, it could be seen that there was a huge difference between the Profound Goddess and the Wealth Divine Palace. If they were to compare the number, then it would definitely be more than the wealth Divine Palace s. Chapter 1807. To Devil-Killing Divine Palace, being able to snatch that black stone orb was a great thing, because the Devil-Killing Divine Palace's devil-killing magic Kung Fu could restrain the Hell Divine Palace. Even so, Hell Divine Palace would not give up on the black stone orb in his hand right now. If not, in the eyes of outsiders, they would be afraid of Devil-Killing Divine Palace. Ren Tianyong waved the divine sword in his hands outside, crazily attacking the profound goddess who wanted to snatch the black stone orb. In just a few moments, a large amount of fresh blood flew out from within the group of profound goddess. Ren Tianyong looked like an elegant scholar, but at the moment, his sword techniques were very ruthless. His sword was bleeding hard, causing the other profound goddess to not dare to approach, and only attack from afar. Again, Ren Tianyong saw all sorts of divine powers flying over from all directions, and shouted coldly. All of a sudden, 8 divine swords of all colors and sizes appeared beside him. All of them were divine swords that he had meticulously collected over the years. In addition, his own sword, which had 9 in total, quickly circled around him, forming an astral sword chi barrier, blocking all the divine powers attacking him from afar. After the first wave of attacks, Ren Tianyong suddenly roared, and 9 divine swords flew out. Devil Slayer 9 Sword Formation. In the blink of an eye, it had penetrated the bodies of a few profound goddess. The 9 swords trajectory converged into an array, surrounding over 20 profound goddess, and then with a flash of the array, countless sword rain appeared, covering the entire sword formation. The profound god inside the sword formation had countless sword scars on their bodies in the blink of an eye, and some of them were even riddled with bloody holes. Although these profound god were protected by divine armor, Ren Tianyong's had made the 9 sword formation extremely overbearing, and with the addition of the 9 divine swords, even divine armors would find it difficult to resist. There were also super profound god amongst these profound god, but compared to Ren Tianyong, the disparity between them was too great. Among them, one was a profound god of the Wealth Divine Palace, with over a dozen bloody holes on his body. The profound goddess who went to snatch the Hell Divine Palace, all heaved a sigh of relief inwardly. If they were still fighting over there, then maybe they would be the same as the profound goddess. When the time is up, both Hell Divine Palace and Devil-Killing Divine Palace will stay behind and the rest will leave. Penalty Heavenly God's voice was like thunder. Suddenly, the sand in the hourglass had already leaked out. The Fat Five threw the black stone orb to Ren Tianyong and then left the arena with Yuan vibing. Ren Tianyong's strength was greater than theirs, so it was only right for Ren Tianyong to stay. The arena was currently covered in blood, and a strong stench of blood floated around. There were also broken limbs all over the ground, which Ren Tianyong had just used the 9 divine sword technique to create. It was hard to imagine that this elegant man dressed in white would actually be able to do such a thing. The injured profound god had already been taken away, and there were only 2 profound god on the arena. Ren Tianyong had already put away his other divine swords and only took out 1. If he was only going to take care of 1 profound god, that would be enough. Boss, did you get serious just now? Wang Jinshi stuck out his tongue. This is a very rare sight. Of course, if we don't be more serious and he loses, we will all be in trouble. The fat 5th brother laughed. Being with boss is usually pretty easy. This point is also ours. There's no suspense at all for Hell Divine Palace. The profound god on the Hell Divine Palace's side was covered in an evil aura. If it was a weaker profound god, they would have been intimidated by it, but right now, the profound god was facing Ren Tianyong. The demon destroyer aura on his body was aimed at restraining this kind of cultivation of evil energy. Are you sure you want to fight? There are no rules that prevent people from killing. In other words, if you get killed by me here, I won't be held responsible. Ren Tianyong said indifferently. Why must you remind me that your devil-killing divine palace really wants to kill me? The Hell Divine Palace asked. We don't want to kill you because it will dirty our hands. We don't want to kill you because we don't want to kill you for joy. It's just that you guys always sneak around and do some heartless things. If Ren Tianyong wanted to kill them, he could have killed them just now. He did not even harm the foundations of the profound god, he only destroyed their bodies and taught them a lesson. If it was a bloodthirsty individual with such a powerful strength, he definitely wouldn't have survived when snatching the black stone orb just now. Begin. Just as Penalty Heavenly God shouted, that Hell Divine Palace immediately shouted out, I admit defeat. Just because Ren Tianyong was merciful just now, did not mean that he would do so now. Profound God did not want to die, even if it would cause him to lose face, it would be more important for him to stay alive. In this round of competition, Ren Tianyang won another point for devil-killing Divine Palace. The devil-killing Divine Palace divided into 6, leading the battle even more, and at the same time, the God of Fortune started to worry, because over the years, the Wealth Divine Palace and the devil-killing Divine Palace did not have any conflicts. Furthermore, they knew too much about the devil-killing Divine Palace's strength, so they all thought that the devil-killing Divine Palace was strong because of the devil-killing magic Kung Fu, which was a way to counter the evil demons. The disciples of the devil-killing Divine Palace had been attacking the evil demons all year round, so they rarely fought against the other shrines. This caused the other shrines to think that the devil-killing Divine Palace was only against the demons. Compared to their own shrines, they were just average. Adding to the fact that the devil-killing Divine Palace was relatively poor, it made them look down on them even more. But now, the devil-killing Divine Palace had left Wealth Divine Palace far behind. Serves him right. We didn't send the most powerful ones out at the beginning. Devil-killing Heavenly God was very proud. This way, after the competition, he could very likely get first place. Next was a battle between 2 true gods. Each shrine sends 2 true gods. Penalty Heavenly God shouted. Devil-killing Heavenly God looked at Chen Shang and the other 2. After thinking for a long while, he shook his head. I don't really understand you 3, it would be better if any of you go up. Tai Chang said. Let them be the masters and disciples, they work well together, and they understand each other, and they are very strong. Chen Shang was Xiao Chao's master, and the fat 5th brother was his second master. Xiao Chao had already explained it to the fat 5th brother already. The devil-killing Heavenly God patted Xiao Chao's head and laughed. You have the blood of the Herculean God in you, so you shouldn't disappoint me. For this first round of individual competition, only you guys have a chance, don't lose, if not, I won't say much more. To be able to compete with Chen Shang, Xiao Chou was pretty happy. He walked into the arena with Chen Shang while giggling. The fact that the devil-killing Divine Palace had sent Chen Shang, who had just entered the God's realm, had attracted the attention of many people. Although Chen Shang was in the alchemy shop, it was hard to say his actual strength. Chapter 1808. He actually did not send Yang Yan out. Could Yang Yan already be a profound god? Chen Shang also did not look at Yang Yan, worried that the God of Fortune would discover his relationship with him. Just then, Profound God had 3 slots, to the point that there were only 2 true gods. He didn't know how the rules were set, but true gods should have more slots because there were many outstanding true gods in the various halls. Penalty Heavenly God took out many beads. Looking at these beads, he knew that this time, he too had to snatch the beads, in order to enter the next round. It was the same as the previous round's competition. Chen Shang sent a sound transmission to Xiao Chou. This rule seems to have been set by the penalty Heavenly God. It's not easy to guess this guy's thoughts, let's pay attention to one thing. There are only 100 of them. If you can get them, you can enter the next round. After penalty Heavenly God finished shouting, he turned the hourglass and threw out the 100 beads. Hundreds of pearls floated in the air, and under the light of his eyes, they emitted waves of sparkling and translucent multicolored light. At this moment, hundreds of figures had already flown up to the sky, but only Chen Shang and Xiao Chou stood on the ground without moving. Chen Shang gave a slight smile as the power of space emerged from his body. After locking onto the 100 beads, he used the spatial extraction technique to instantly move the 100 beads to his side. He had already sent a sound transmission to Xiao Chou just now, telling him to stay put and leave it to him. Those true gods who were about to grab the beads suddenly disappeared. It's with Chen Shang, quickly. The Empyrean gods outside the arena were all frantically shouting. What Chen Shang was using was the power of space, which surprised many gods. This kind of precise use of spatial energy, even a profound god like Ren Tianyang was unable to do it, but Chen Shang was able to do it because he had obviously mastered the power of spatial laws. Chen Shang and Xiao Chou each grabbed a round bead, while the rest were burnt to ashes by Chen Zhang's fire. Those true gods who rushed over to Chen Zhang's side were all stunned, because those beads were all burnt by Chen Shang. In other words, only 2 spots could enter the next round. In other words, we can at least get a point. Haha, if there really is that kid, then there's no need to go through all that trouble. After we're done with all of this, we should do it this way. The devil-killing Heavenly God laughed. Although there were only 2 round beads left, as long as they got them, they could still stay here. Therefore, the other true gods charged forward without a care for their own safety. Brat, it's fine as long as you run now. Protect your bead. Chen Shang stepped on the shrinking step, and like a ghost, he started to chase after the true gods that were chasing him. Although Chen Shang could fight, he didn't want to waste his strength. On the other hand, Xiao Chou was different. It's too easy to win. Chen Shang secretly smiled as he looked at the hourglass. Not long after, all the sand in the hourglass was emptied, and the penalty heavenly god declared the conclusion. The true gods looked at Chen Shang and Chen Shang hatefully and left the stage. The next step is to snatch the black pearl, right? Xiao Chou laughed. Penalty heavenly god coldly said, no, it is just a competition. Although only your devil-killing divine palace is left, but in order to test your fighting strength, one of you must fight. Chen Shang knew that this penalty heavenly god would definitely change the rules at the last minute. One of you, the penalty heavenly god said. Xiao Chou consciously left the stage. Although he felt that he was a little stronger than Chen Shang, but if he was facing against many special situations, he wouldn't be as good as Chen Shang. In that case, you will find a true god of equal strength to fight with me, right? Chen Shang looked around, but did not see anyone enter. Penalty heavenly god's cold smile gave Chen Shang a bad premonition. It's not a fight between a true god and you, it's this. Penalty heavenly god opened his palm and a small cage appeared in his palm. There was a standing savage beast inside the cage. This guy, to actually let Chen Shang deal with beasts, this is a famous profound horn divine beast. Even if it's a upper true god, if they weren't careful, they would still have been killed. Devil-killing heavenly god frowned. This bastard penalty heavenly god, always the same. He always likes to make things difficult for others. Penalty heavenly god crushed the cage, and the beast man inside suddenly grew larger, and appeared in front of Chen Shang. It was taller than him by a few heads, had a brown fur on its head, muscular and powerful, and its lower body was of the beast type. It had a huge, powerful, and full of thorns tail, and on top of its head was a sharp, sword-like horn. The divine beast let out a low growl as two horns similar to the ones on its head suddenly appeared in its palm. It looked like two swords, and was quite sharp. In the beginning, there's no time limit. Beat him until he wins. When the penalty heavenly god shouted, the profound horn divine beast rushed over with a speed as fast as lightning. In the blink of an eye, it was already in front of Chen Shang, and the horn on his head had pierced through his body. This frightened the whole audience into silence, as Chen Shang was actually pierced. Of course not, it was just an illusion of Chen Shang. He used this move frequently, and although his opponent's speed was extremely fast, he could still dodge it. It's that ancient sword, Wang Jinshi shouted lightly. We cannot use our divine power on this ancient sword, even though it's very sharp, it's completely useless in his current situation. Dad, I didn't think that you would actually give him this sword. Although this sword is not bad, it doesn't suit him at all. Zhu Chao said. Master, in order to win, you should have told him not to use this sword. Devil-killing heavenly god laughed. You guys don't understand Chen Shang, I don't either, but I do believe that he is definitely not an idiot. If he takes out this sword, he definitely has his own thoughts. Chen Shang named it the god-slaughtering sword. Although he was still unable to infuse his divine power into the ancient sword, as he had just learned the first move of the seven devil-slain Kung Fu, he did not need to use his divine power. Instead, he was using the changes in his body, allowing his physical body to use the energy cleverly and produce an endless amount of strange power. The black-horned beast realized that it had only pierced through a shadow, while the real Chen Shang was behind it. He fiercely twisted his body and rushed forward, this time not only using the sharp horn on his head, but also the long horn sword in his hands, thrusting towards Chen Shang. Chen Shang raised the god-slaughtering sword in his hand. The profound horn divine beast had already charged over, but then, a very strange change suddenly occurred. Chen Shang did not slash, he had even suddenly teleported behind the black-horned beast. There were still many tiny fragments falling from the ground. Those were the horns of the black-horned divine beast, and they had all been turned into pieces. This was the result of Chen Zhang's attack, but no one saw it. Even the divine gods in the shrine saw it. Chen Shang swung his sword, and it became like this in the next moment. That process should last a while. No matter how fast it was, he could still see some traces of it, but there was not even a trace of his chi left. The process seemed to never happen. It had actually appeared, but because the time and power of the first style of the 7 devils slain Kung Fu that Chen Shang used was altered and the time and power were fused together in such a chaotic fashion, the time and energy in the process was different from the time outside. This was the power of the time code, and during that period of time, it existed within Chen Zhang's timeline, but it wasn't, however, in other people's timeline, which was why he couldn't see it. The most excited one was the devil-killing heavenly god, and only he was clear of what was going on, because he knew this move as well. He never would have thought that Chen Shang was able to grasp the changes in time and power in such a short amount of time, which was the basis for the introduction of 7 devils slain Kung Fu. It's the 7 devils slain Kung Fu. Penalty heavenly god was shocked. He knew that the 7 devils slain Kung Fu was his trump card. How many years has it been since I've seen this move? I never thought that the next time I saw it, it wasn't done by an old devil slayer, but by a little kid who had just entered the god's realm. The god of fortune who was originally sitting down stood up and stared at Chen Shang. Only the disciples of the devil-killing divine palace knew the most about how difficult it was to learn and master the 7 devils slain Kung Fu, especially the first group of disciples, which only consisted of Zhu Chao and the other 3. Although it was just the most basic, it was something that they could not learn. Chen Shang had only learned for a short period of time, and he had already mastered it. This kind of comprehension ability, even the devil-killing heavenly god who established the 7 devils slain Kung Fu could not compare to him. You win, devil-killing divine palace will get 1 point. Penalty heavenly god hurriedly stored away his profound horn divine beast. He knew that the ancient sword in Chen Zhang's hands was not ordinary. If this continued, his profound horn divine beast would definitely die. Chen Shang still hadn't had enough, yet he had already won. He felt a little helpless in his heart, but it was good as long as he could win. The changes in strength and time, the rigidity and gentleness of my body, these can be considered as 4 types of changes that I have grasped, but speed and slowness can also be considered 2 types. So, just how many types of changes have I grasped? It was hard to tell for Chen Shang, so he decided to ask the devil-killing heavenly god. After returning, the devil-killing heavenly god excitedly pressed down on his shoulder and excitedly said, "Good boy, how did you learn this? I never thought that my 7 devils slain Kung Fu could actually be passed on. Actually, I just managed to grasp a bit of it." Chen Shang scratched his head and laughed. He had already mastered most of the first form. Don't be modest, we have already wasted a lot of time on the 7 devils slain Kung Fu. However, not long after you obtained the 7 devils slain Kung Fu, you have already grasped it a little. This can be considered to be extremely rare. Ren Tianyang said. Seeing Chen Shang wanting to ask something, the devil-killing heavenly god patted his head. Let's talk about it when we return. Devil-killing divine palace got another 1 point, which was already 7 points. If he wanted to catch up, he could only look at the following group battle. Let's head back to the shrine first and rest for 3 days. After that, the battlefield will be changed. The penalty heavenly god said. Everyone had been here for many days now, and they were all somewhat annoyed. It would be best if they could go back now. Chapter 1809. Chen Shang also wanted to quickly ask devil-killing heavenly god about the changes in the first transition. Right now, he also didn't know how many changes he had mastered. The 7 devils slain Kung Fu that Chen Shang had just used seemed to be extremely proficient, as if he had not comprehended it at all. It was very clear that he had been in a hurry to talk to Chen Shang privately, and at the same time, to guide him. Now that Chen Shang had comprehended the fundamental changes of the 7 devils slain Kung Fu, the devil-killing heavenly god was very sure that Chen Shang would be able to learn the 7 devils slain Kung Fu at a higher level just like him in the future. I'll go back with Chen Shang first. Devil-killing heavenly god gave way to Chen Shang and disappeared in a flash. They quickly left the arena and returned to the devil-killing divine palace. When did you learn that move? Devil-killing heavenly god was very excited when he heard that Chen Shang was in the same secret room as him. After all these years, Chen Shang was the only one who could comprehend 7 devils slain Kung Fu. Chen Shang felt that the 7 devils slain Kung Fu wasn't too hard to master, because he didn't even need a lot of time to master it. It's been a while. The first form of the 7 devils slain Kung Fu, what sort of changes are there? I can already use my flesh and mind to undergo several kinds of strange changes. As Chen Shang said that, he rolled up his sleeves, and after a moment of slight control, one of his arms became extremely soft. Even the bones inside had become soft, but they were extremely tough. Seeing Chen Zhang's arm hanging down like mud, the devil-killing heavenly god couldn't help but to let out a strange cry. He didn't think that Chen Zhang's comprehension of the first style would actually reach such a stage, which was far beyond his expectations. This is flexibility. Since you have already grasped flexibility, then you should be able to grasp righteousness, rigidity, and slow and light are all based on strength. After all, you have already grasped 5 transformations. The devil-killing heavenly god took a deep breath. Chen Shang had only been learning the 7 devil-slain Kung Fu for a short while, and he had already comprehended the 5 transformations much faster than he had back then. Speed is one of the 2 changes in time. Devil-killing heavenly god continued to speak. As long as you can comprehend the remaining 2 transformations, even if you master the first form, you can begin the second. Chen Shang asked, "What are the remaining 2 changes? Give me a hint." Cold and hot. The devil-killing heavenly god said, as the power of the body changes, the body can also produce cold and heat changes. The power of cold and heat is also a pretty good power, so with the change in power as the foundation, the combination of speed and flexibility will have a unique effect. Chen Shang nodded, and remembered it in his heart. Now that he had a direction, the next step was simple. For him to comprehend the 5 transformations in such a short period of time, the remaining 2 wouldn't be too difficult. After I finish my war with the Hell Divine Palace, if I have the time, I will properly instruct you. You have the Supreme God Bone and you also cultivate the Heavenly Alchemy, so you might be able to surpass me in the future on this 7 devil-slain Kung Fu. Devil-killing heavenly god rubbed Chen Zhang's head. We should head out to meet up with them now. In the upcoming competition, we might have to stay together with everyone. Zhu Chao and the devil-killing heavenly god came out into the hall. Zhu Chao and the others were there, so for Chen Shang to be able to comprehend the 7 devil-slain Kung Fu in such a short period of time, it was natural for the devil-killing heavenly god to pay attention to him. We are already in the lead. As long as we maintain this momentum, the final victory will be mine. Rest well for a few days, then we will definitely show them the true power of our devil-killing divine palace. The devil-killing heavenly god left right after speaking. No one knew where he went. Zhu Chao and the others chatted with Ren Tianyang and the others for less than an hour before they returned to their rooms to rest. Chen Shang, this is a small gift from me. Yuan Baibing suddenly took out a small pill furnace and threw it to Chen Shang. Chen Shang took a look and discovered that it was actually a pretty good middle-graded pill furnace. It should be the kind that was worth several million gods' coins. Yuan Baibing saw that Chen Shang was about to speak, and immediately said, "Don't be so polite, you are so talented in pill cultivation, and furthermore, as a good alchemist, this is something you should have." Yo, a worthless number 2. You're actually that generous. Am I dreaming? Wang Jinshi chuckled. She naturally understood that Yuan Baibing did this solely because of his boundless future in the pill Dao. Making friends with an alchemist was also a type of investment. "Thank you, second martial uncle." Chen Shang smiled as he thanked him. His previous furnace had already rotted, and since Yuan Baibing was sincere enough to give such a good pill furnace to him, he would not reject. Everyone returned back to their rooms to rest while Chen Shang played with the middle-grade divine furnace that Yuan Baibing had gifted him. The divine furnace was a light gold color with a beautiful pattern on the outside. The various auxiliary alchemy formations inside the furnace were all very good. They could allow the alchemist's flame to be better controlled. At the same time, it could make the inside of the furnace more stable. It could also absorb the external energy to strengthen the flame. "Youngest junior brother, are you resting?" Wang Jinshi transmitted in from outside. Chen Shang put down the pill furnace and opened the door. After Wang Jinshi came in, he laughed. "Junior brother, you are much stronger than I thought. I never thought that you were so good at refining pills. Even second brother gave you a pill furnace." "Senior sister, I'm very disappointed that I didn't see you display your skills today." Chen Shang smiled as he brought over a chair for Wang Jinshi to sit on. "It would be better if I did not attack. Actually, I am very weak. Don't think that I am very powerful." Wang Jinshi curled his lips and said, "Otherwise, master would also let me go up." "Youngest junior brother, I didn't expect you to learn so quickly. If you learn that sword art, you must not use it in public." The reason why Wang Jinshi came to find Chen Shang was to once again remind him not to use the god-murdering sword techniques carelessly. Seeing that Chen Shang had comprehended the 7 devil-slain Kung Fu so quickly, Wang Jinshi thought that Chen Shang might have learned a bit of it. She was worried that Chen Shang would reveal the sword technique in order to win. "I still haven't learned anything yet. After this competition ends, I'll start learning again." When that time comes, I'll have to ask Senior for some pointers. Chen Shang laughed. Relax, I will not use it as you wish, I have experienced this before. Wang Jinshi left in a relaxed manner. Chen Shang took out the 15 Lingguang Dan he refined, these were all Dragon Blood Saint Dan. After he ate one, he immediately felt a very strong medicinal strength dissipate, giving him a very comfortable feeling. If I can produce 1 or 2 of these pills with spiritual light in the future, I'll try my best to refine this pill with a medicinal effect that is 10 times stronger than normal, or even higher. Chen Shang found yet another type of extreme challenge. At the entrance of the Divine City a white-clothed female appeared. She had a sweet oval face and a pair of bright eyes that radiated with a weird light. This woman was none other than Long Shui. She had arrived at the God's realm very early on, and because the Divine City was very lively, she came here late. She did not expect to find out that Chen Shang had joined the devil-killing Divine Palace, and had performed shockingly in the competition, so she rushed over. Chen Shang, who was resting, came to the reception hall when he found out that someone was looking for him. When he saw Long Shui, he was so happy that he almost shouted loudly. "Little scoundrel, do you miss me?" Seeing Chen Zhang's expression, Long Shui giggled. She was also very happy and had already threw herself into Chen Zhang's embrace and tightly hugged Chen Shang. "Gluttonous ghost, you should be thinking of me. Do you think that you can't eat your fill outside?" Chen Shang gently stroked Long Shui's long hair, and with one arm wrapped around her jade waist, he tightly embraced her. "Yes," Long Shui replied softly, "I don't want to leave you ever again." "Who asked you not to wait for my return?" Chen Shang laughed, and pinched her face with all his might. "Without you around, I would be bored too." Long Shui looked around. "I have a secret to tell you. There's a reason why I suddenly came to God's realm myself, otherwise, I would not want to come alone, and be with you, instead of starving." Quote. Chen Shang took out a few Dragon Blood Saint Dan that had a spirit light as he laughed. "This is a Lingguang Dan, it's my current highest level of pill refinement. Taste it." Long Shui immediately took it and placed it in his mouth, as if he was eating candy. He then nodded happily. "It's delicious, it doesn't have the smell of blood." Before she came, Long Shui had collected a lot of saint fruits, but she had already finished eating them all. It had been a long time since she had eaten anything good. Chen Shang held Long Shui's small hand, and led her to his room, but on the way there, they met Ren Tianyang and Yuan Bibing, who were talking and laughing. "Brat, what are you doing?" Yuan Bibing saw Chen Shang pulling along a very beautiful and cute girl, and hurriedly walked towards his room. He would more or less think in that direction. She's my wife." Quote. "Greetings, seniors." Long Shui immediately bowed, because both Yuan Bibing and Ren Tianyang were very strong, and could indeed be considered seniors. "You've only been in the God's realm for a short while, and you already have a wife. My boss and I haven't had one for so many years." Yuan Bibing laughed. "I didn't expect a kid like you to be so kind." Ren Tianyang laughed. "Then go back to your work, we won't tell anyone else." Chen Shang curled his lips, and pulled Long Shui further into the room, but who knew that just as he was about to open the door and enter, Wang Jinshi had suddenly arrived. "Youngest junior brother, I heard from eldest brother and second brother that your wife is here, so I came to take a look." Wang Jinshi giggled, carefully sizing up Long Shui, then praised, "Brat, your eyesight isn't bad." "Greetings, senior apprentice sister." Long Shui greeted Wang Jinshi very obediently. "Hello, junior sister." Seeing that Long Shui was so cute and beautiful, Wang Jinshi couldn't help but stroke her pretty face. "Youngest junior brother, I think you said that you have quite a few wives. How many is she? Did she just come from God's realm?" Wang Jinshi asked. "I don't know how high he is either. He's not ranked either." Chen Shang laughed dryly. Seeing Chen Shang being so anxious, Wang Jinshi immediately thought that Chen Shang might be in a hurry to do that kind of shameful thing with Long Shui. Her face slightly blushed, then she smiled coquettishly. "Then I won't disturb you guys anymore." Chapter 18:10. After Wang Jinshi left, Chen Shang had finally brought Long Shui into the room. "These guys, their brains are all in a mess." Chen Shang snorted, and took out a plate of fruits, placing it on the table. Long Shui picked up a few of them and sent them into his sandalwood mouth, then said with a smile, "That beautiful senior sister just now seems to have a special relationship with you. Don't lie to me, I'm also a woman. The way she looks at you is different. There must be some secret between the two of you." Long Shui was right, there was indeed a secret between Chen Shang and him. That's right, I have a little secret with her, but I can't tell you about that, because it's the most important thing. Chen Shang said. Chen Shang was not willing to speak, so Long Shui tactfully did not pursue the matter and nodded his head. Didn't you just say that you came to God's realm alone for another reason? Chen Shang asked. Long Shui sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. Yep, because I have gained some memories in my mind, I came here today, and I feel that I will be even more powerful in the future. In that case, could it be A? Chen Shang was shocked, only to see Long Shui nodding his head. This feeling is very strange, I didn't expect it to be real, I really have another past life, it's just that my current memories aren't complete, so I don't know what happened in the past. Long Shui sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. If you have time, come with me to look for that complete set of memories. No problem, I will help you. After you have complete memories, your strength will definitely increase. At that time, we will work together to save the Ice Dragon and the Green Dragon, then we can build a shrine. Long Shui laughed. I think so too, let's work hard together. The two of them smiled at each other and exchanged a palm strike. Feng Yuji had said before, the 4 holy beasts and the other holy beasts were created by the 9 divine kings according to the divine beasts that disappeared during the primordial era. Furthermore, when they were being created, some of the remnant spirits of the divine beasts were also added in, which was why Long Shui was in this situation right now. The white tiger and vermilion bird have been in God's realm for a long time, but they are very low profile. They are worried that they will be captured by the god of heaven and used as mounts, just like the ice dragons. Long Shui said. So that's why it's very difficult for us to find them. If they become stronger in the future, maybe they will become more high profile. We are not in a hurry to find them. We will help you find your memories first. Chen Shang hugged Long Shui in his arms and kissed her forehead. Long Shui was also enjoying the warm embrace of Chen Shang. As he ate the sweet fruits, he also enjoyed Chen Zhang's affectionate caresses. It's so good to be with you. Long Shui sighed as he licked his lips. When with Chen Shang, although he would sometimes starve, as long as Chen Shang had time, he would immediately help her get food. She didn't have to look for it herself. Chen Shang then told Long Shui about the information he got from Yang Yan about the green dragon. The old cyan bug is truly powerful. It actually attacked us from the depths of hell. However, this way, it will be even more difficult to redeem it. Long Shui sighed. If it was only 1 billion, it wouldn't be too difficult for Chen Shang. But now, to redeem the Azure Dragon, the amount of divine money needed was more than 10 times. Take your time, Chen Shang said. I have also seen the Ice Dragon, he is currently following the God of Fortune like a zombie, I am very angry when I see him. We must save him. Long Shui also felt very sad in her heart. Right now, she could only hope that Chen Shang could quickly find that piece of memory of hers, so that she could obtain an even stronger power from it and save the Ice Dragon. I don't know if LV Kilian came to the God's realm, but I really want to find her quickly. Chen Shang and LV Kilian could condense that kind of spirit pearl together, and now that the two of them had increased their strength by so much, and if they were to work together again, they would definitely be able to condense even more spirit ingredients. She is a very strong woman. Her reason for not joining the Divine Female Palace should be because she wants to build a powerful shrine for herself in the future, or do it on her own. That is why she is so desperate for power, and it just so happens that you can help her. Long Shui said. LV Kilian could understand the secret records that Wang Jinshi had left behind. If LV Kilian had seen those secret records, he would probably come looking for him. She had a special relationship with this place, and at this moment, she really hoped that Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao could return. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao both had decent strength at the moment, and they had always wanted to seek the Mei Emperor for revenge. With Feng Yuji assisting them, Chen Shang wasn't too worried. Mei Emperor is still in 9 Heaven World. I wonder how he is doing now, but with the temple meddling, he should be more stable. I hope Big Sister Yuyu and Sister Meiyao can take care of their enemies. If Chen Shang wanted to eradicate the Mei Emperor, it wouldn't be a difficult task. The reason why Bai Yuyu and the others had been working hard for so many years was precisely to seek revenge against the Mei Emperor. Don't worry, they all have their own thoughts right now. You always take care of them and they won't grow up. Long Shui comforted her. Once LV Kilian stabilizes her foundations here, with her charisma, she will definitely be able to gather them all together. Very quickly, 3 days of rest time passed, and now everyone knew that Chen Zhang's wife had come by. Since they had not seen Long Shuiyi, Chen Shang said that she had gone to play by herself. Chen Shang didn't dare to keep the ring on his finger right now, and placed it inside the divine sense sea. Otherwise, he would be discovered by the powerful gods. Let's go. As long as we can get a high score in the second round, the final victory will be ours. Devil-killing heavenly god was extremely confident as he led Chen Shang and the others towards all divine palaces. Dad, we scored so many points in the first round. I feel that the second round will definitely be targeted. Zhu Chao said. They will definitely target us. If we can easily get first place, then there won't be any more challenges. Devil-killing heavenly god was not the least bit worried. I will tell you the truth, the second round is not being presided over by penalty heavenly god, but rather, it is a heavenly god who is very close to wealth divine palace. Ren Tianyang frowned. I've heard of this guy before. He's not some good stuff. Devil-killing heavenly god nodded his head. That's right, this bastard has a very good relationship with the god of fortune, and the rules for the second round are also set by him, so he will definitely make things difficult for us, but in that situation, if we can still get first place, that will be even better. Chapter 18:11. Devil-killing heavenly god had already been informed that this time they were not heading towards the giant arena from before, but to another place, still above all divine palaces. Each level of the all-divine palaces was not simple at all, the most famous being the 18 levels of purgatory, which were all prepared for the god of heaven. Furthermore, the war god's trial was also in there, which contained all sorts of scenes, all of them used to test one's strength. The second round of the competition was a collaboration between teams. Devil-killing heavenly god guessed that they might use it for either purgatory or the training grounds of the war god. The divine gods and their disciples had gathered at the first level of all divine palaces. After arriving, they would follow the penalty heavenly god into a stone room, where they could be teleported to. Not long after, Chen Shang and the others arrived at a barren land. Devil-killing heavenly god said, "This is still inside all divine palaces, this should be a training ground." It was only the first time that Chen Shang and the others had been to this place, and they couldn't help but be surprised. This was only the first floor of the all-divine palaces, but the inside was so wide that they couldn't see the end of it. An old man dressed in a white robe suddenly appeared in the sky. He said loudly, "I am the hall master of all divine palaces, the second round of the competition will begin here." This old man was the Zhang Gao Shan who had a good relationship with Wealth Divine Palace. Looking at his kind eyes, he did not seem like a bad guy. Isn't this the war god's training field? Although it's just a part of the war god's training field, it's still quite taxing for a true god. He had already decided that he did not want the true gods to continue joining in the fun here. Zhang Gaoshan chuckled, "If you're worried that a true god will die here, you can choose not to. I have yet to announce the details. You just wait patiently. This is the training ground of the second phase of the war god. As long as one is able to complete the mission, the minimum score will be 2 points, while the true god, profound god and the god of heaven can all stay at this training field. This mission is not too difficult, only with the strength of a true god, with the help of a profound god, it will not be difficult to complete it. This level has a limit of 5 spots. You should carefully consider which combination you want to send into this level." Devil-killing heavenly god thought for a moment, then said, "Old Ten, you, the little Baldy and Tai Chang are here. The rest will go to the other levels." There were only 3 true gods from the devil-killing divine palace and there was still one more from the profound god on this floor. Clearly, this was to reduce the number of points the devil-killing divine palace received. But devil-killing heavenly god had made this arrangement. In other words, he was going to send Chen Shang to another floor. Next up is the War God Stage 4 trial. There are 5 slots and the lowest 4 can be obtained if you complete the corresponding mission on this level. "Little Shi, go with Chen Shang," the devil-killing heavenly god said. Chen Shang was only a true god, but he was actually going to train at the place where the level 4 martial immortal assessment was held. "I know what I'm doing. You guys will definitely score." The reason why devil-killing heavenly god arranged things like this was to let Ren Tianyang, Yuan Bibing, and the fat 5th brother to go to a higher place to get more points. Next is the War God Level 6 exam. If you can get 6 points, you'll get 5 spots. The 6th phase of the War God's trial, this was something else entirely different from the Sky God level. "Fatty, 5th, little soldier, Tianyang, you 3 go. Don't die." Ren Tianyang and the other two had very serious expressions, because this floor was very dangerous. Finally, the War God Level 9 training field, the lowest score is 9 and the number of spots is 5. Zhu Chao, the 4 of them are going to this place. Only, who was a god, could make it to stage 9 of the War God's training field. Now, he actually told Zhu Chao and the others to go, all for the sake of getting a higher score. Right now, the various shrines were discussing about what to do, and the devil-killing divine palace had long planned it all out. You did not go to that place to pass the assessment, so the difficulty is not as high as you imagined. When you go in, you will obtain a map, and as long as you complete the mission together, you might be able to get a higher score. When you guys go in, we will have the divine gods of the divine halls drip their blood onto the divine beads and dye them with the blood, this way, they won't be able to copy it. When you come out, the divine gods will be able to discern your own blood energy, so there will be no cheating. As long as it was Penalty Heavenly God who released them, everyone was at ease, because Penalty Heavenly God had never been partial to any side. If you find these pearls, you can come back. The corresponding training field will give you the corresponding points, and if you find one pearl, you will be able to come back. Each hall can only calculate a maximum of 5 pearls. Each shrine had 5 spots at different levels of the training field. Even if a few of them entered, they would be able to get a lot of points if they found the same amount of pearls. Although there are many pearls in there, if I go alone to look for them, it will definitely be difficult. This way, we will need to work together. Zhang Gushan said. The rules weren't too harsh, it was just that the disciples that came from the devil-killing divine palace were few and far between. If it wasn't for the matters with the Devil Yang Valley, there was no lack of low-level disciples in the devil-killing divine palace. 10th, keep an eye on them. Try your best to find the 5 pearls and bring them back. The 10th elder didn't normally talk much. With a simple and honest smile, he nodded his head, then patted Xiao Chao's bald head and walked into the transmission array with Xiao Chou. The other halls were also arranged by the Profound God and the True God to enter the War God Stage 2 training field. Xiao Shi, Chen Shang, it's just the 2 of you, so I don't need you to find all the pearls, it's enough to get 2 of them. Tian Yang, the 3 of you have to get 3 as well. The devil-killing heavenly god's expression was extremely serious as he said to Zhu Chao and the other 2, this War God Stage 9 trial field is very dangerous. You all must obtain at least 2 of them before you can leave. They could only calculate the score of 5 beads at most. Now, the devil-killing heavenly god did not need them to get all of the beads, as long as they could get more or less, they could leave the training grounds, because this War God Stadium was not a playground. Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi's group also had relatively weaker overall strength, because Wang Jinshi was a woman and Chen Shang wasn't even a profound god. The time limit is 1 month. We just have to wait patiently here. Zhang Jiaoyan smiled. Don't worry, Penalty Heavenly God has already brought his disciple in to supervise. If there's any crime in killing and stealing, Penalty Heavenly God will definitely throw them in divine prison. The disciples of the various halls all entered the training field, and the 9 stages of the training field were filled with experts. The 4 disciples of the God of Fortune all entered the training field, and the God of Fortune's requirements for them were very strict. Chapter 18:12. Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi were teleported to a stone forest. Around them were many strange stones that had been erected everywhere. There were no flowers or trees, it was completely lifeless. Senior sister, why did Master arrange for us to be together? Did he have some other purpose? Chen Shang could not understand why devil-killing heavenly god would do this. His strength was very weak and Wang Jinshi was a woman. It was them, the 2 weakest, who were actually placed together. Furthermore, they were in the middle of the War God Stage 4 trial field. I don't know, the 3 of them may be able to go to a higher training field, but you and I are the best here. It might be more wasteful for you to stay in the 2nd section of the training field, and your strength alone isn't enough. So let me accompany you. Wang Jinshi laughed. You can't be thinking that Master intends to match us, right? Chen Shang was startled, then laughed. Where is it? Do we look like we are compatible? Moreover, I already have a wife, it's not like I don't know Master. Wang Jinshi took out the smoke sword, looked at the scorching sun, and sighed, I finally have the chance to use this sword. Even if they were in this place, Wang Jinshi did not dare to use the god-murdering sword techniques because the divine gods were very powerful. Suddenly, a jade plate fell from the sky. There was a map drawn on it. There were 5 marks on the board and it was the location of the 5 beads. The location of each of those pearls is further away than the previous one. I wonder if I can get 2 of them within a month's time. Wang Jinshi asked. Can your spatial energy be used here? Chen Shang shook his head. No, the space here is sealed with time, we can only walk over. Senior apprentice sister, do you have that sort of magic treasure? It's just that its speed is extremely fast, and it'll be able to reach its destination in an instant. Chen Shang missed the azure dragon cloak, the speed of the cloak was very scary. Only now did he realize that the cloak was not an ordinary thing, even Yuan Bibing would find it hard to refine. I have a flying treasure, but it's not fast. Also, do you think we can really fly over and retrieve the bead? If that's really the case, then it's too easy. Wang Jinshi said, the war god's trial field that I went to previously is extremely scary. The reason why you feel safe now is because the place we teleported to is safe. Chen Shang saw that the surroundings were extremely quiet, there were no beasts around, it was indeed abnormal, and it was not as scary as the legends said. Let's go, we'll go to the nearest place to retrieve the bead. If it's really dangerous, you can just run according to the situation. You can't use your spatial energy right now, it's very dangerous. Wang Jinshi also felt that this mission was extremely difficult to complete. Senior sister, I'm sorry for dragging you down. Chen Shang said somewhat helplessly. Don't say that, Master must have let you be with me because he thinks we can help each other. Also, you have so many tricks up your sleeve, so perhaps you might be able to help me out a lot. Wang Jinshi chuckled, don't worry, even though I, your senior sister, am a woman, I am not as weak as I seem to be. Wang Jinshi waved the smoke sword in his hand a few times, making him even more confident. After Chen Shang stood up, he released the Heaven Tour method and released many wisps of his soul to wander around, to guard against sudden danger. If it was before, Chen Shang was a little worried that his own strength would be too weak, but now that Long Shui was in the Yin Yao ring, if that really wasn't possible, he could directly borrow Long Shui's power. If it was before, Chen Shang was a little worried that his strength would be too weak, but now that Long Shui was in the ring, if that really wasn't possible, he could directly use Long Shui's power. Chen Shang took out the middle-grade pill furnace that Yuan Bibing had given him. When Wang Jinshi saw it, he asked curiously, you want to concoct pills? Chen Shang laughed. It's nothing, I've even tried refining pills in an even worse environment. What I'm trying to do now is to refine pills, not ordinary pills, it's very different from the pills you've seen before. Oh, what pill? What's the difference? Wang Jinshi's face was filled with curiosity, she already knew that Chen Zhang's pill refining skills were extraordinary. I call this pill the weapon pill. It can be used to attack like a weapon, but it is usually a one-time use pill with a great power. For example, Chen Shang took out a destruction ice seal dan and threw it down the frisbee. However, this type of ice was very weak, and the true god would be able to easily destroy it. This was because this pill was refined a long time ago by Chen Shang and it did not have a lot of power. I refined this in the 9 heaven world. At that time, the quality of the materials were relatively low, so its power was only this much. If placed in the god's realm, it would not even amount to much, so I plan to use the materials here to refine stronger ones. Chen Shang said, when I'm fighting others, I'll throw one on their body, hee. This is a good item, just like the divine talisman. However, the process of refining a divine talisman is very complicated, and the price is very expensive as well as the materials required. Normally, I don't even want to use it. Wang Jinshi said somewhat excitedly. When the time comes, sell me some, I will collect them at a high price. Senior sister, who are you and me? What are you talking about selling? I'll just send you off. Chen Shang snickered, and took out some of the materials for him to refine the weapon pill. Seeing Chen Shang take out a pot of fiery red liquid, Wang Jinshi frowned, isn't this from those demons? That's right, these liquids are all good stuff. I have collected a lot of them, and it will be enough for me to use for a long time. That's right, these liquids are all good stuff, and I have collected a lot of them, and it will be enough for me to use them for a long time. At that time, I had tested the strength of the weapons and the pills that were refined were pretty good. Now, I have to refine stronger ones and refine ones that possess spiritual lights. Fortunately, I have this pill furnace. Otherwise, I wouldn't dare to try it out recklessly. With a spiritual light pill, a fierce collision was required. The other normal pills were already extremely powerful, not to mention this kind of extremely explosive pill, its might was difficult to imagine. Hurry up and refine it. Let me see how it looks like. Wang Jinshi was looking forward to it. Chapter 1813. Right now, Chen Shang had not only refined these kinds of soldier pills with normal compressed energy. He had also used the fastest time to condense these pills and engraved S that were even more stimulating inside and out. This was the most difficult part. You don't have to fly that fast. It's best for you to fly slower. As long as I refine this thing, if you use it well, your overall strength will increase a lot. Chen Shang suddenly took out a big book, and started to look through it. This divine book was a good thing left behind by the 9 divine kings. It contained many powerful divine formations and spirit grain S, and the women of Lu Munger's group also had great breakthroughs in refining because they had grasped so many powerful divine formations and spirit grain S. You refined this kind of soldier pill the same way you refined the divine talismans. Do you need to inscribe something on it? Wang Jinshi saw that Chen Shang was studying some complicated spirit grain and asked. Chen Shang nodded his head. The spirit grain S are very useful. You should be clear that after the transformation of the spirit grain S, normal energy can have all kinds of different powers and become even more powerful. The spirit grain S are like a human's brain and soul, controlling the flow of their energy. If not, with just a body of brute force, it would be useless for them to not know how to use it. Wang Jinshi raised her eyebrows. Little junior brother, you aren't starting to study these spirit grain right now, are you? I've seen it before, but I want to learn a few more powerful spirit grain. After all, this is the gods' realm, and they are much stronger than us. Chen Shang knew what Wang Jinshi was worried about, and laughed. Don't worry, my learning ability is very strong, I won't take too long. Regarding this point, Wang Jinshi did not doubt that it would take them a lot of time to learn the 7 devil-slain Kung Fu. Not to mention their group of disciples. Even the previous 2 batches of disciples from devil-killing heavenly goddess had all failed to learn the 7 devil-slain Kung Fu, but Chen Shang had learned it with just a few moves. In order to allow Chen Shang to refine such a powerful soldier pellet, Wang Jinshi flew very slowly, and even though he was still in the stone forest, he did not encounter any danger. After Chen Shang read the spirit grain S for an entire day and night, he finally closed the book. He found a few sets of spirit grain S from above and felt that they were all suitable to be used on the soldier pellet. Before, when he refined the annihilating ice seal Dan and the god fire destruction pill, their attack range was very wide. Without concentration of power, the effect of dealing with a single target was very weak, and many divine talismans were the same. But now, if he were to forge a battle pill, the explosive power would have to be concentrated in a very small area, creating a very strong destructive force. The prowess would be even greater, and unlike the previous times, when he had to dodge at close range, he would still have to avoid the attack. Explosive flame pill. Chen Shang already had a general idea of what it was, and immediately put a pot of fiery red liquid into the pill furnace. It was a type of demonic liquid that belonged to the fire element. The combination of the spirit grain in the explosive great formation should be able to help me refine the explosive flaming pill that I'm satisfied with. Chen Shang was also looking forward to see how the refinement process would turn out. After Chen Shang purified the basin of liquid, it was reduced by half. The remaining liquid contained pure flame power S and had turned into liquid. The liquid inside the furnace started to bubble, and was already boiling. Under Chen Zhang's constant compression, it gradually shrank and became solid. Seeing this, Chen Shang divided it into 3 parts, and then used the method of refining Lingguang Dan, and let the 3 clumps of fiery red mud violently collide. A rumbling sound suddenly came out, causing Wang Jinshi to scream in shock. Her flying discs also started to tremble violently. She reacted quickly and stabilized her flying discs. Chen Shang never thought that there would be such a strong reaction when he clashed with the beast. Although it was the same for the Lingguang Dan he was refining previously, he was using a low-grade pill furnace, and the pill furnace he was using now was a mid-grade divine furnace that was worth several million gold coins. It could only be said that this was because the strength generated from refining a soldier pill was even greater. This method consumes a lot of pill furnaces. It seems that I need to find a better pill furnace to refine this kind of weapon pill. When Chen Shang saw that a sun-like little pill had been formed inside the furnace, he knew that it was a success. Right now, what he needed to do was to quickly engrave some of the spirit grain S, stabilize the berserk energy inside the pellet and seal it. At the same time, he would allow the spirit grain S to fuse with that ball of energy, making that ball of energy become even more powerful. Youngest junior brother, is your pill furnace alright? No matter what, it is a medium-grade divine furnace and can be considered very good. For it to have such a commotion, it seems the soldier pills you refined are very powerful. Wang Jinshi became even more excited. You haven't even been an hour and you're already about to condense a pill. The refining speed is much faster than I imagined. It will take at least a few days for second brother to refine a divine talisman. Chen Shang had already understood before that if he were to become proficient in it in the future, this kind of military pill would be refined much faster than the divine talisman. The technique of carving the array on the pellet was not difficult for Chen Shang. He had often refined this kind of pellet before, but now that he wanted to inscribe the spirit grain S, it took a lot of effort and energy, and he needed to condense his spirit power into visible threads, connecting the inside and outside of the pellet that had not solidified into a pattern. A powerful divine formation required many sets of profound spirit grain S to form, so it required a large amount of energy and time. Chen Shang took a full 6 hours to complete it, and at this time, he also felt a bit dizzy, so he quickly consumed a few pills to recover. Success. Wang Jinshi wiped Chen Zhang's perspiration and asked. Yes, I should have succeeded. I can start the furnace now. Chen Shang smiled slightly. I'm not familiar with it yet, so I took quite a bit of time. It's still very tiring. Wang Jinshi opened the pill furnace and did not feel any strong qi. She took out a bead that was emitting red light and looked at it carefully. The explosive flame pill was like the red day when he went down the mountain. On the surface, however, there were many very small spirit grain S. Although these spirit grain were very complicated, they did not look messy at all. This is called explosive flame pill. Chen Shang took it from Wang Jinshi's hands and started to carefully look at his work. How powerful is it? Wang Jinshi really wanted to try. Chen Shang shook his head. I don't know either. This thing is not like the ones I refined before. I made it before. It was placed in a certain place with a very large covering area. The power is not concentrated in that place. This thing will be concentrated in a very small area. Its power is very strong. As for the specifics, I'll have to give it a try. After I rest up, I'll fly out of this stone forest and try to find something. Wang Jinshi nodded, and also took out a few low-rank holy fruits for Chen Shang to eat, so he could quickly recover, and then, he could test the power of the explosive flaming pill. Chapter 1814. Wang Jinshi brought Chen Shang and flew out of the stone woods, but just as they left, they felt a terrible stench approaching them, followed by a low growl. Senior sister, when you entered this war god training field before, you usually met something that killed you. When Chen Shang smelled the stench, he had a bad premonition. This was the training ground of a 4th stage war god. Even a profound god like Wang Jinshi had to be cautious. The more powerful ones in the training grounds are usually the kind of demons that are locked up here. Wang Jinshi said. Most of them were brought in by the penalty heavenly god. These demons are they all profound god? Chen Shang felt that he had still underestimated this kind of war god trial field. Wang Jinshi nodded. They are profound god, all of them are fellows who have made a mistake. They were originally meant to go to hell, but since they honestly admitted their wrongs, they are imprisoned in this kind of place. Actually, these fellows were only able to throw them in when they handed over quite a bit of divine money and their strengths were not bad. Quote. I threw it here to test you guys. Chen Shang thought that this method was not too good. If they were to come in and die at the hands of these villains, wouldn't that mean they had died unjustly? Profound goddess with decent strength usually enter the war god trial and don't die. Although there are some unlucky fellows who die here, that is a very rare occurrence, unless you enter a training field that is outside of your limits. For example, right now. Wang Jinshi saw that Chen Zhang's face was a little ugly, so he giggled. I'm just scaring you. I'm also a stage 4 martial immortal now, so I can still easily deal with it. Moreover, little junior brother, you have so many tricks up your sleeves, what are you afraid of? So you've been here before. Chen Shang remembered that the first time he had met Wang Jinshi, he had heard that she was a level 4 martial immortal. I've been to this training field before, but not here, so I'm not familiar with this place either. Wang Jinshi wrinkled his nose. The stench was getting thicker, and the low growls were getting clearer. No matter how you looked at it, it looked like there was a ferocious beast nearby. Chen Shang said. Although my explosive flame pill is powerful, if used against profound god whose strength is about the same as yours, I'm afraid that it won't work. He's coming. Wang Jinshi quickly grabbed Chen Zhang's arm and pulled him to the side. Wang Jinshi dodged, only to see her frisbee smashed into pieces by a black shadow that was swooping down from the sky. That black figure only appeared for an instant before disappearing. This made Chen Shang recall the first time he encountered the Azure Dragon when he was at the second bane of divine prison, and how fast the Azure Dragon at that time was. The black shadow he saw now was probably only slightly slower than the green dragon. However, Wang Jinshi was able to discover, and even brought him to avoid it. It had to be said that Wang Jinshi was not as weak as she looked on the surface, and was also a very strong woman. "You're sneaking around, come out!" Wang Jinshi shouted loudly. The smoke sword suddenly appeared and was tightly held by her. "It's been a long time since I've seen a delicate beauty. It looks like the taste must be pretty good. I really like eating these kinds of female profound god. Just thinking about it makes me drool." The voice laughed. The one emitting the stench and low growls wasn't a ferocious beast, but a villain who liked to eat human flesh. Wang Jinshi took out a small ice pearl and stuffed it into Chen Zhang's hands. "Take this, you'll have to pay attention to this later, don't get ambushed by this guy." Chen Shang also didn't know what use Wang Jinshi gave him the ice pearl, but just when he wanted to ask, he felt the stench suddenly become very strong, and then he was dragged away by Wang Jinshi. Seal. With Wang Jinshi's shout, an extremely thick layer of ice suddenly appeared outside of Chen Shang, and some demon-slaying spirit grain even appeared on top of the ice. The reason why Wang Jinshi did that was also to protect Chen Shang, because the main target of the cannibal villain was Chen Shang, and it was to disturb Wang Jinshi. "This ice seal will be able to hold on for a period of time. It's enough for me to deal with this bastard." Wang Jinshi transmitted to Chen Shang, and then in a flash, he disappeared. Now Chen Shang understood that the ice pearl Wang Jinshi had given him just now was for the sake of preventing frostbite. The thick ice that had sealed him was attacked by a very powerful force, but was blocked by the Devil Slayer spirit grain outside the layer of ice. The thick ice that Wang Jinshi had released was also very strong. "You are from the devil-killing divine palace." Seeing those demon-slaying spirit grain, the villain was a little shocked. The ice that Wang Jinshi had released in such a short time was able to resist his attack, so it could be seen that Wang Jinshi was stronger than him. "Not bad, I'll send you to hell." A wave of snow floated over, and Wang Jinshi appeared from within the drifting snow, as if she was a goddess formed from ice and snow. The villain thought that Wang Jinshi had been beaten away by him just now, but did not expect that he would appear in such a manner. When he was about to attack, he discovered that his entire body was stiff, unable to move. Wang Jinshi did not use her smoke sword, but used her powerful ice divine power to create an ice sword, and pierced through the evil being's forehead. Break. Wang Jinshi's fist was wrapped in a layer of ice. It looked extremely stiff, as it smashed into the villain's head and smashed it into pieces. After that, she threw out a few punches at lightning speed. The villains who were frozen by the ice were shattered by Wang Jinshi's punches just like that. "You want to eat me with a guy like that? Go dream in hell." Wang Jinshi kicked the villain out of the wreckage. With a wave of his hand, Wang Jinshi retracted the ice that had sealed his body. The ice quickly turned into a silver-white river and flowed into his body. "Senior apprentice sister, your icy divine power is so powerful. It can actually block such a powerful attack." Chen Shang handed over the pearl that Wang Jinshi had given him earlier. Wang Jinshi laughed. "You can keep this pearl, but it might be useful in the future. To tell you the truth, this is my innate divine power. Usually when I dance with the sword, I can only scare others. My strongest point is still the ice magic force." Chen Shang put away the pearl properly, and laughed. "It seems that it won't be that easy to bite senior sister." "What, you want to eat me too?" Wang Jinshi smiled and rubbed Chen Zhang's head before taking out a flying disc. "I want to eat it, but I can't." Chen Shang sat on the frisbee, and gave the explosive flaming pill to Wang Jinshi. "When you can bite, try again." Wang Jinshi laughed as she played with the explosive flame pill. This time, Chen Shang was a little disappointed that he did not see the might of the explosive flame pill. The flying disc that Wang Jinshi took out was a lot slower, but it was too fast for Chen Shang, so he quickly distanced himself from the stone forest. Chapter 18:15. In front of him was a mountain range shrouded in dense fog. Wang Jinshi took out the jade tablet with the map drawn on it, and said, "The closest beat is inside here, so it should be the most dangerous place within." Chen Shang said in a somewhat depressed manner, "My strength is so weak, I can't even help much by coming here, and I'm dragging you down as well." If the space here wasn't sealed, Chen Shang wouldn't be able to help much, but he would at least not be a burden to Wang Jinshi. "Alright, stop blaming yourself. Although you won't be able to play any role, you can stay with me. Also, maybe Master brought you here to broaden your horizons. Wang Jinshi gently caressed Chen Zhang's head, as if he was comforting a child. This made Wang Jinshi smile even more sweetly. The more Wang Jinshi said this, the more Chen Shang felt apologetic in his heart. This was the first time he felt that he was a burden, even though it was understandable. Leave everything to me. I've passed the level 4 war god trial, even if it's me alone I can easily deal with it. Wang Jinshi looked ahead. Although she was smiling mischievously, she was on guard against all four sides. This is not a war god trial, but a competition that has lasted for 1,000,000 years. Although that all Divine Palace's palace master said it was easy, I do not believe his lies. Chen Shang said. Just as the flying discs entered the dense fog, Wang Jinshi stood up, his brows knitted tightly. Be careful, I feel that there are many terrifying things hidden inside. Chen Shang immediately became vigilant, looked around silently, and released his soul. Wang Jinshi, who was originally laughing and talking, suddenly became so serious. He knew that the situation here was not normal. Long Shui sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. Don't you think that the power of spatial laws can help you make another breakthrough? You have already come to the God's realm. The space here was originally different from the one in the 9-heaven world, and there are also many large-scale divine cities here that have super-divine formations that seal spaces. Your spatial laws are too weak, they are basically useless here. I think it's time for you to try breaking through to the space laws. Now is a good time. Chen Shang looked at Wang Jinshi's back figure. Now, he could only trust Wang Jinshi to protect him. In this kind of place, even if he wanted to escape, it would be useless. He had fused with the spatial rule spiritual bead, but only because of the laws of space was he able to use the spatial energy to break through the limitations of space. As for the specific usage of spatial energy, he needed to comprehend it on his own before he could break through more restrictions. Chen Shang began to comprehend the spatial laws. He felt that his body was a little cold, and he immediately understood that Wang Jinshi had used her innate ability to freeze him, as if she was protecting him. The power of this innate technique should be the strongest power she has. Now that it's being used to protect me, a lot of her power will be weakened. Chen Shang, who was sealed in ice, felt his surroundings tremble. It was obvious that Wang Jinshi was engaged in battle. She's fighting with a few guys. Your senior sister is indeed very strong. The guys she's facing are all much stronger than the ones we met back then, but she can handle them herself. Long Shui never thought that Wang Jinshi would be so strong. Wang Jinshi was currently being besieged outside, and there was no one who could help him right now. It could be said that it was more dangerous, while Chen Shang was being frozen. Chen Shang, who was initially very anxious, suddenly quieted down. He knew very well that the more he panicked, the more useless it was. What he needed to do now was to calm down quickly and properly comprehend the power of the spatial laws. The restrictions here are somewhat similar to those in the divine prison. They also have a layer of time formation added to disrupt the balance of time and space here. The spatial energy that I uses time on the outside, so coming to this place where time is disturbed, coupled with the fact that space is sealed, it is difficult for me to unleash my spatial energy. If I want to break through this seal, I must master the time laws like the Azure Dragon. Looks like I can only try using the time changes in the 7 Devils Slain Kung Fu. I'll also try using the time in the Heavenly Alchemy to see if there's any breakthrough in the grasp of time. Chen Shang already had a general idea of what was happening. He did not need to control time, nor did he need to use time energy. As long as he could understand the laws of time circulation where he resided, he could coordinate with his spatial energy and circulate the spatial energy around him, allowing him to break through space. I also need to increase the power of my space laws. This place should be a joint arrangement by the god of the shrine. My space law is too weak. Even if I can control the flow of time here, using the power of the space law won't be able to break through the shackles of space. Chen Shang calmed his heart down and began to combine the Heavenly Alchemy and the 7 Devils Slain Kung Fu to familiarize himself with the time here. As long as he could capture the chaotic time movements here, it was possible for him to combine the spatial energy to break the spatial seal here. Chen Shang, who was immersed in comprehension, did not notice the flow of time. Even the disturbance from outside could not wake him up. Chen Shang only felt that he was lying in darkness, but there were a lot of floating black ribbons of energy beneath his body. He couldn't see them, but he could feel them. Even though I have fused with the spatial rule spiritual bead, I have never been able to understand what kind of power is spatial energy. It is just a rule that allows me to break through space at will, using spatial energy to carry out unnatural spatial transformations, such as taking things out from space, teleporting things in the air. But is this really the true way of using spatial energy? It should be, but it isn't everything that I use the power of space. There should be a lot of space waiting for me to explore. The frozen Chen Shang, in the process of comprehending, had already gradually gained some clarity. Unknowingly, the power of the spatial laws he used had already become stronger. How is it? Chen Shang suddenly woke up. As for whether he could break through the spatial seal, he was not very sure. He just wanted to give it a try. You've slept for more than 10 days, and this woman has been carrying you everywhere. She's fought everywhere, and she's already killed dozens of groups of villains, and she's still fighting outside. She hasn't even rested yet, and the power of a level 4 war god is truly terrifying. She should be able to become a god soon. Long Shui said. She should be able to go to the level 5 martial immortals training field. How are you? It looks like you're in good shape. You should have gotten something. Chen Shang had indeed obtained some benefits, but he didn't know how it would turn out right now. He wanted to give it a try, and when he found out that Wang Jinshi had been trying for more than 10 days and couldn't even make it through, he felt really bad. He used the Heaven Tour method and his divine power covered the entire area, quickly finding Wang Jinshi. She was currently using her already weakened divine power to fight against the 5 red-robed elders. Senior sister, let me try. If I can't move you to my side, when you feel my spatial force, don't resist it. If you succeed, then quickly withdraw the power that sealed me and I will use spatial force to take you away. Wang Jinshi had just heard Chen Zhang's sound transmission, and she immediately sensed Chen Zhang's spatial energy. This made her extremely happy. Chen Shang never thought that he would actually succeed. With a thought, Wang Jinshi appeared by his side. Wang Jinshi immediately withdrew his innate ability. Chen Shang anxiously pulled her back and teleported, at the same time releasing a space domain, allowing him and Wang Jinshi to produce an alternate power in the air. Although they were still walking around in the space, it had nothing to do with the space. This way, their auras would be completely concealed and would not be discovered. If it was outside, Chen Shang would be able to do it easily, but in the divine prison and in this place, it was impossible for him to do it. Senior sister, you must be tired. Chen Shang saw that Wang Jinshi was drenched in sweat and her face was pale white. Not bad. You sure are powerful. In this sort of sealed space, you were able to break through the seal. My master once said that even an Empyrean god would find it hard to do so. Wang Jinshi could finally take a breath of relief. After taking out a pill and eating it, her beautiful face finally recovered a bit of color. Even if I can't, I still have to. How could I bear to see a beauty sacrifice her life in order to protect me? Chen Shang laughed. Now that we are safe, we can directly take away those pearls. There are still 17 days left, right? Wang Jinshi also felt very safe inside Chen Zhang's space domain. Only she and Chen Shang were in the teleportation space, so even if they were talking loudly here, as long as they were outside the domain, they would not be able to hear anything unless Chen Shang controlled his voice to be heard. Senior sister, I have another idea. Chen Shang laughed craftily. The villains here are all from Profound God, and they are quite strong as well. Hee, you know what I mean. No, those fellows have imprints inside their divine deity. Those imprints were left behind by the penalty heavenly god. If you manage to obtain those divine deity, the penalty heavenly god will definitely track you down. Wang Jinshi hurriedly shook his head. That's why I didn't dare to take the divine deity when I came here to train, otherwise I would have been thrown into the divine prison. Don't worry, when the time comes, I'll use a spatial barrier to wrap up the divine deity so that he won't be able to track us. Right now, even if Hell Devil Emperor were to give me the tracing mantra, I wouldn't be afraid of being caught by him. Chen Shang was very confident in this. He said in a low voice, Senior sister, if you want to get your father out of the divine prison, a large amount of divine money is required. Wang Jinshi nodded his head. Little madman, I'm going all out this time. I'll go crazy with you once, get those pearls, then we'll go hunt for divine deity. Chapter 18:16. Wang Jinshi had worked hard for more than 10 days, but now she could finally relax. Originally, she thought that it would be good if she could obtain 1 pearl, but now, it seemed that obtaining all 5 pearls wouldn't be a difficult task. This was because Chen Shang had made a new breakthrough in the use of the power of the spatial laws. Other than that, they might even be able to get some divine deity to sell. The bead is placed in a cave in that mountain. This mountain is a great formation. This formation has been gathering a large amount of divine energy all year round, so there will be many villains gathered in the vicinity. It will not be easy to enter that cave. Wang Jinshi smiled sweetly. If it was before, I would definitely suffer a lot. But now, I should be able to take it away easily. Senior sister, how many villains have you killed before? Chen Shang only knew that Wang Jinshi had killed a man-eating villain. It's not easy to kill them. I only chased them away and brought you with me to escape. Wang Jinshi looked at the mountain in front of him, pointed to the side of the mountain and said, "There's a cave there, do you see it or not? I don't know if there are villains inside. If there are, I will go and pester them, you go and retrieve the bead." After resting for 4 hours, Wang Jinshi had fully recovered and was able to cope with the upcoming great battle. Youngest junior brother, can we directly go over now? There are definitely many villains hidden in this forest, and this place is a precious cultivation ground for them. Wang Jinshi pulled Chen Zhang's arm. Chen Shang looked at the mountain cave, estimated the distance, then nodded, it should be possible. Wang Jinshi anxiously hugged his waist, and laughed, then let's hurry. Chen Shang used the power of the spatial laws and instantly teleported. In the blink of an eye, he appeared at the mouth of the cave. If Wang Jinshi had flown over by himself, he would have been able to move so quickly. However, he would have alarmed the villains around the mountain range and he would have even been stopped by a few array formations. Is there anything else in there? Wang Jinshi whispered to Chen Shang. Not yet. Chen Shang still released the space domain, slowed his footsteps, and walked forward. The spiritual energy in the cave was very dense, but there was a formation blocking the entrance. Without some ability, it was very difficult to enter. Not long after, Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi arrived at the end of the cave. On the ground, there was a round bead that was emitting a white light, and although the inside of the bead was red, the outside was emitting a white light, which was very strange. This is it. Wang Jinshi picked up the bead and sighed a breath of relief. I finally got one. There's movement. The spatial perception domain that Chen Shang had released covered the cave passage. At this moment, he could clearly sense that 2 tall men had entered the cave. This should be the place where the spirit pearls are stored in the devil-killing divine palace. They probably haven't come yet. We'll take away the spirit pearls here, and as long as they can't find it, they won't get any points. Senior brother, will the penalty heavenly god watch? Is this a violation of the rules? Penalty heavenly god is only trying to scare us. If he was watching us get rid of the other 2 disciples from the divine hall, he would have already made his move. Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi could clearly hear their conversation. It's the fire divine palace's war god, he's very strong. Wang Jinshi transmitted to Chen Shang, try your best to avoid them. If they only have one, I might be able to handle it. The war god of fire divine palace actually knew where to store these beads. Didn't they say that only the penalty heavenly god knew where to store these beads? I really want to kill these 2. Wang Jinshi clenched her teeth, she was furious in her heart. If penalty heavenly god did not pay attention to this place, she would have started a massacre as well, but she wanted to focus on the big picture right now. Furthermore, she could only deal with one person. Who's inside? This voice belonged to the senior brother. It was rather rough, and its tone was extremely cold. Quick, dodge! Wang Jinshi anxiously leaned on the wall and pulled Chen Shang over, only to see 2 balls of fire shooting over, striking on the stone wall at the end, directly piercing through, who knows how deep it went through. Chen Shang was extremely shocked. He had just released a space domain, he thought that the 2 flames would not penetrate his space domain, but how could he have known that his space domain would be instantly destroyed? Haha, it's the little girl from devil-killing divine palace, and also that Chen Shang. The voice laughed out loud. Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi had already seen them and came over in a moment. Wang Jinshi dragged Chen Shang as he dodged left and right, barely dodging, and at the same time, shouted angrily, "You guys want to kill us?" Of course. Once he said that, a terrifying flame chi surged forward. Chen Shang anxiously teleported and brought Wang Jinshi out of the cave. Just as they left the cave, terrifying red flames shot out from the mouth of the cave and a large amount of boiling lava gushed out from the top of the mountain. Let's go, they've already caught up. Wang Jinshi anxiously transmitted to Chen Shang, and Chen Shang also felt the approaching danger and immediately used his spatial energy to teleport. Don't stop, they're chasing us too closely. Wang Jinshi also didn't know how these 2 fire divine palaces knew the exact direction they were heading, but they had actually chased after them. Now that Chen Shang had experienced the strength of these 2 profound goddesses, he understood why Wang Jinshi said that she couldn't handle two of them. She was really strong, and he had almost killed them just now. These two bastards, how dare they use such vicious methods? Wang Jinshi was furious. If she did not have enough people on her side, she would have retaliated and killed the two profound goddess. Chen Shang had teleported with Wang Jinshi tens of times consecutively, and they were already far from the cave from before. Now, they did not even know where they were. It's safe now. It seems like we have to find the remaining beads quickly. If we are found by those two guys, then our score will be greatly reduced. When Wang Jinshi saw that Chen Shang was extremely tired, he took out a pill and fed it to him. You rest first, they shouldn't be chasing you anymore. Why do they know where our bead is hidden? Could someone have purposely told them where our bead is hidden? Chen Shang was very suspicious about this. It should be, that fellow is most likely the hall master of the all divine palaces. Besides this bastard, who else would the penalty heavenly god do such a thing to reduce their price? Wang Jinshi's face was full of anger. You saw it too, those two fellows earlier actually wanted to kill us, HMPH, since it's like this, don't blame me for being ruthless. If they hadn't run fast, Wang Jinshi and Chen Shang would very likely have been killed by the two Fire Divine Palaces just now. These two guys are really strong, why didn't I see them appear in the competition? At that time, Chen Shang had also observed them very carefully, especially towards the Fire Divine Palace S, Hell Divine Palace S, and the S of the Divine Halls. Hence, his impression of these two profound goddess was very deep. It seems that our devil-killing Divine Palace has been scammed by those shrines. We have to be extra careful. Wang Jinshi frowned. We better hurry and retrieve the bead in front of those two fellows. They should have passed the level 5 War Gods assessment, their strength is much stronger than me, and when the two of them teamed up to deal with me, I'm not their match at all. Chen Shang recovered very quickly. In just an hour, he had already recovered to his peak condition. I have confirmed your position. I will now guide you to the next location. When Chen Shang recovered from his rest, he walked around and determined their location. Chen Shang used teleportation techniques and continuously teleported. Right now, he was not being hunted down, so his teleportation was not so continuous, there would be a pause in between, and in his mouth there was even a pill. It had only been 3 days, but they had already found the 4th bead. The entire journey was extremely easy because Chen Shang had the spatial strength, so they did not meet any villains blocking their way. Even if they met him, Chen Shang could easily avoid them. The last one. Take the last one and we'll go back and tell Master about this as soon as possible. Wang Jinshi held back his anger and had no place to vent it. He could only go out and tell devil-killing heavenly god to help her vent it out. The 5th bead was placed on a small mountain, on top of it was a platform, it was constructed by humans. When Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi arrived, they did not see anyone, but just as they were about to go to the origin beads, 3 black figures suddenly jumped out. Leave it to me. Looking at these 3 auras, Wang Jinshi felt that they were not very strong and that he could handle them. Previously, Chen Shang said that he wanted to kill a few villains and get a few divine deities. However, because of the sudden appearance of the Fire Divine Palace's powerful profound god, they had no choice but to change their plans and return early. They were facing the greatest danger here, and it was not these powerful villains, but the Fire Divine Palace S. Now, Wang Jinshi also wanted to get rid of these 3 villains and take out their divine deity. Chen Shang received the bead, but Wang Jinshi and the 3 villains were already battling in the distance. Because of the 2 profound goddess, Wang Jinshi had been holding back her anger for the past few days. Now that she had coincidentally met 3 villains, she completely vented her anger on them. Chen Shang immediately rushed over, as he was trying to retrieve his divine deity. Taking out the divine deity also required some means, otherwise, if one were to accidentally destroy the divine sense C, the divine deity would also dissipate. Wang Jinshi carefully took out the 3 divine deities. Just as she and Chen Shang were brimming with joy, the 2 familiar scorching auras suddenly appeared. Fire Divine Palace of the Fire Divine Palace had come. They were also at this place, and Wang Jinshi felt that it was not a coincidence. You actually killed them. Do you know that they are profound goddess of our Fire Divine Palace? That relatively tall middle-aged man said coldly. You killed the profound god of my Fire Divine Palace, pay with your life. Chapter 18:17. But Wang Jinshi felt that it was not so, because during the battle, the 3 profound goddess did not use the Fire Divine Palace's cultivation methods at all, and did not even use the power of fire. Huo Liao, Huo Lai, it really is you two brothers. Although you two have disguised yourselves, I recognize you too. Just as Wang Jinshi said this, a flaming long blade appeared in the hands of the two brothers and hacked towards Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi. Wang Jinshi had thought that Chen Shang would teleport and bring her away, but he did not. It was obvious that something unexpected happened, but she still quickly reacted, using her own ability to release an ice wall, in the nick of time, to block the two blades. Her innate divine ability could form very solid layers of ice, but the ice wall had already been split open. What's wrong? Wang Jinshi asked quickly. I don't know. My teleportation failed. Chen Zhang's face turned ugly. It was okay before, but now it is not. Seeing Chen Zhang's change in expression, Huo Liao sneered. Brat, your spatial force is rather strong, but we were already prepared for it. Wang Jinshi suddenly understood that the three villains who had lost their divine deity must have come here to set up some array. Huo Liao and Huo Lai had long been lying in ambush here. You guys are really despicable. Huo Liao, Huo Lai, you two are famous war gods. Wang Jinshi scolded angrily. She had already sealed Chen Shang with her life ability. Wang Jinshi had to face an enormous pressure from facing these two powerful stage 5 war gods. Chen Shang was even more worried, and at the same time, he was staring at Huo Lai and Huo Liao with anger. Zhang Gaoshan, you must have done it. Just you wait. Chen Shang was furious to the extreme. It was impossible for Penalty Heavenly God to leak out the location of those beads. As the Hall Master of the All-Divine Palaces, Zhang Gaoshan could definitely get this information out of Penalty Heavenly God. Since the Penalty Heavenly God didn't pay attention to this place, then it must be because Zhang Gaoshan purposely distracted the Penalty Heavenly God's attention so that the Fire Divine Palace could make a move. Wang Jinshi used his smoke sword and fought with Huo Liao Huo Lai not too far away. Through the layer of ice, Chen Shang could clearly see that Wang Jinshi had already been madly hacked several times, with blood continuously flowing out. I won't lend you my power. I will forcibly break the spatial seal set up by those two fellows. Long Shui said, if you don't save your senior sister, she will die. After Long Shui finished speaking, Chen Shang immediately felt a familiar yet somewhat unfamiliar power surge into his body. This kind of feeling made Chen Shang feel an indescribable beauty. It was the first time that he felt the power within his supreme god bone being stimulated, causing the strength of his body and soul to surge explosively by multiple times. Shui, how did you become so strong? Chen Shang reckoned that Long Shui's strength had already reached the profound god realm. HMPH, I possess a supreme dragon blood. Don't look down on me, especially since I have just awakened a little of the memories of the primordial era. Long Shui urged her, hurry up and go save your senior sister. Was already heavily injured and one of her arms had almost been chopped off. She had used her own innate ability to protect Chen Shang and could not use her full strength. So Huo Liao and Huo Lai knew that if they did not kill Wang Jinshi, it would be difficult for them to break through his innate ability. Wang Jinshi was severely injured, and stood on the ground. Her vision was blurry, and her entire face was covered in blood. Her originally beautiful face was currently haggard and haggard. She panted, and her beautiful eyes were currently filled with endless anger as she looked at Huo Liao and Huo Lai who were in front of her. Chen Shang, I'm sorry. Senior sister cannot protect you. Wang Jinshi clenched his teeth, feeling extremely guilty. Girl, what a pity. If we were to give you a few thousand years of growth, even we brothers together might not be a match for you. Huo Liao laughed sinisterly. Wang Jinshi spat out, even if I die, I'll drag someone down with me. Wang Jinshi, who was holding onto the smoke sword, had already decided to use god-murdering sword techniques. Huo Lai and Huo Liao suddenly felt a strong sword intent coming from the smoke sword, causing them to feel an extreme sense of danger. You have no chance. Huo Lai shouted anxiously and slashed at Huo Liao fiercely. The current Wang Jinshi was so terrifying that it made them tremble, but they were confident that they would not let Wang Jinshi retaliate before his death. In that instant, Wang Jinshi's despair dropped to the bottom because she knew very well that she was unable to even execute god-murdering sword techniques. This Huo Liao and Huo Lai were simply too strong, and too fast. Chen Shang shouted out explosively, and a wave of berserk spatial energy rippled outwards. It was like a calm wave, and the space around him began to undulate up and down. The mountains and the earth became extremely uneven, and it was as if there were waves crashing down. And just now, because of the spatial ripple, Wang Jinshi had avoided the position she was at with Huo Liao and avoided the fatal 2 slashes. Due to the fluctuations in space, the surrounding terrain had completely distorted, and the spatial ceiling enchantment that was originally laid out had become ineffective. After successfully breaking through the seal, Chen Shang immediately teleported Wang Jinshi to his side, but Huo Liao and Huo Lai's reactions were extremely fast. Chen Shang hugged Wang Jinshi and quickly dodged, but he still felt a burning pain on his back. After being cut in half, the scorching energy quickly spread to his entire body, and he did not dare stay there. He had to teleport multiple times, otherwise, the two brothers would chase after him. This time, both Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi were heavily injured, and their oil was completely used up. Fortunately, they had some medicinal pellets on them. After teleporting tens of times consecutively, Chen Shang had already gotten rid of the two brothers and could finally stop to recuperate from his injuries. Wang Jinshi's entire body was covered with terrible wounds, the blood had already been stopped by her cold divine power. My soul is fine, but my body isn't light. How about you? Wang Jinshi's pale face revealed a hint of a smile. She saw that Chen Zhang's expression was also not good and knew that Chen Shang was definitely injured. I just used up a lot of energy, and my back had a big cut, so it's not too bad. Chen Shang took out the Lingguang Dan that he had refined before. The Dragon Blood Saint Dan could heal one's vital energy and blood, and if the vital energy and blood were sufficient, it could allow him to quickly repair his own injuries. Fortunately, you were able to save me at the critical moment. Otherwise, we would have been dead for sure. Using the only hand that could move, Wang Jinshi took out a jade bottle. There were milky white liquids scattered all over the place, dripping onto the arm that was about to break, and then, he ate a few pieces of the Shengpin Holy Dan. It had only been half a day, but both Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi's expressions had improved quite a bit. However, the injuries on their bodies had not completely healed yet. I'll be fine in 2 days. What about you? Wang Jinshi had also dripped that milky white liquid on Chen Shang, so there weren't even any wounds on his back. Right now, the scorching energy was flowing through his body, all he needed to do was refine it. I will be fine when the time comes. Senior sister, you must seek revenge. When Chen Shang saw the anger on Wang Jinshi's face, he knew that she would not let it go. Find them, no matter what, I have to get rid of one of them. This time we were ambushed by them, that's why we became like this. The next time it will be us ambushing them. Wang Jinshi took out the smoke sword, and said coldly, I will use the god-murdering sword techniques to defeat them this time. Chapter 18:18. Wang Jinshi wanted to use the god-murdering sword techniques to get revenge on the two profound goddess, which made Chen Shang a little worried. It was not because she was worried that Wang Jinshi couldn't win, but rather, she was worried about the consequences of exposing the god-murdering sword techniques. It could be seen that Wang Jinshi was already full of rage, causing her to no longer care about this. Chen Shang said in a low voice, Senior sister, this isn't so good, right? Wang Jinshi kept his smoke sword and snorted lightly, whatever, let's not get rid of these two fellows here, we won't have another chance in the future. You saw it earlier, these two fellows have a killing intent towards us, their moves are so ruthless. Chen Shang only knew that the god-murdering sword techniques could not be used casually, but he did not know what the serious consequences would be after it was exposed. He asked, Senior sister, what will happen if the news of you using the god-murdering sword techniques were to be leaked? Wang Jinshi pondered for a while, and said sternly, I don't know, but the god of fortune. Even more powerful people would appear, force me to hand over the god-murdering sword techniques, and cause great trouble for devil-killing divine palace, so I want to kill them in one strike. Quote. Wang Jinshi patted Chen Zhang's head and asked, You brat, why were the powers on you different just now? It's very strange, they don't seem to be yours at all. This. Chen Zhang's eyes moved swiftly, and he was speechless. He did not expect Wang Jinshi to notice this in such a critical situation. Long Shui suddenly came out, and laughed, It's me, I lent him my power. Quote. When Wang Jinshi saw Long Shui last time, she knew that he was Chen Zhang's wife. She did not expect that he was actually hiding inside Chen Zhang's storage magic treasure. Brat, you actually brought your wife with you, did she know my secret? Seeing how beautiful Long Shui was, Wang Jinshi could not help but chuckle. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it on purpose. I definitely won't leak it. Long Shui lowered his head and whispered. Chen Shang didn't expect Long Shui to actually admit it, so he promptly explained, Senior sister, it's all my fault. I didn't mention this to you in advance. Seeing how anxious Chen Shang and Long Shui were, Wang Jinshi laughed and said, "All right, I believe you too, but in order to be fair, I also want to know a few secrets that you two cannot divulge." Long Shui rolled the ends of his hair and moved his eyeballs, thinking about what kind of secret he should tell Wang Jinshi. Chen Shang said, "Let me say it first, I have the Supreme God Bone, this is a very powerful thing, and this is my secret. I have told all of you now, even Shui doesn't know about it." Chen Shang originally thought that Long Shui and Wang Jinshi did not know about the Supreme God Bone, because Feng Yuji had told him before that only the 9 divine kings knew about the Supreme God Bone. Now that they saw Wang Jinshi and Long Shui's expressions, Chen Shang knew that they had heard of this matter before. Wang Jinshi asked anxiously, "Supreme God Bone, this is a bone that only the strongest flesh body has, even God does not have it, how did you get it?" "I got it unexpectedly." What Chen Shang had said was also the truth. Back then, he did not know how this Supreme God Bone fused into his body. "With the Supreme God Bone, I can enter the Supreme Divine Palace." Long Shui said in an excited voice, "I heard that many deities of the Divine Hall have gone to great lengths to not be able to enter the Supreme Divine Palace." Chen Shang was even more curious now, how did Long Shui know about these things? "Shui, why have I never heard of it?" Wang Jinshi also felt that it was a little strange. "Shui, didn't you just arrive in the God's realm? How do you know about the Supreme Divine Palace?" "Master only told me about it by chance. I heard that the people in the Supreme Divine Palace are all very powerful ancient fellows. If even the devil-killing heavenly god did not have the qualifications, then probably no god in the entire God's realm would be able to enter." Long Shui continued to speak. "Supreme Divine Palace only accepts supreme gods, or rather, they possess Supreme God Bone, so even powerful Empyrean gods cannot enter." Wang Jinshi helped smoothen through Long Shui's messy hair for a while, and asked curiously, "Shui, how did you know about these things? Tell me your secret as well, only then can we be considered equal." Seeing Long Shui stick out her tongue cutely, Wang Jinshi couldn't help but stroke Long Shui's pretty face and say with a sweet smile, "Shui, don't you feel bored staying in Junior Brother's storage magic treasure all day? How pitiful, you can stay at my place from now on." Long Shui nodded and smiled, when this little scoundrel didn't bring me out with you, I was together with you. Now I will tell you my secret. In fact, I am a dragon from the primordial god period, but my memories are incomplete, they are all vague and intermittent." "Really?" Wang Jinshi was in a state of disbelief. She had thought that Long Shui was just a little girl, but she hadn't thought that he was actually a dragon, and a dragon at that. Long Shui sighed lightly. "To be more precise, I died during the primordial god period. The 9 divine kings used a strand of my incomplete divine soul to revive me, and I have only now awakened a tiny bit of my memories. My remaining divine souls are still all over the god's realm, so I need to gather these divine souls in order to be able to recover to my original self." Wang Jinshi nodded his head. "I also heard that many powerful beasts died during the primordial era, but I am not clear about the details. Especially back then, there were many dragons, and even though there are some now, they would usually hide themselves, because once they appeared, they would be captured and used as mounts, such as the god of fortune's ice dragona." S face was immediately filled with grief and indignation when he mentioned the ice dragon. Long Shui lowered his head and sighed, "He's my good friend, he should also be from the primordial god period, I wonder if he has any memories." Wang Jinshi looked at Chen Shang. She did not expect Chen Zhang's wife to have such a great background. It could be seen that Chen Shang also had a heavy responsibility. Chen Shang lightly patted Long Shui's back, and then asked, "Back then in the primordial era, was it because the beasts were too strong, and that's why they were exterminated?" Wang Jinshi answered his question, "On the contrary, because beasts are too weak and do not obey the control of certain fellows, they resist on a large scale. Afterwards, they implicate powerful beasts and in the end, some powerful totem beasts were all killed." Wang Jinshi caressed Long Shui's face, and asked with a smile, "Shui, do you need my help?" Long Shui replied with a "N," and laughed, "If I need senior sister's help, you don't have to refuse." "All right." Wang Jinshi seemed to like Long Shui a lot and even kissed her on the cheek. Chen Shang said, "It looks like we have a lot of things to do next. We need to save the Azure Dragon, Ice Dragon, and senior sister's sword godfather to help Shui find her remnant soul. He himself still had to find the 4 symbols divine weapons, delve into the heavenly alchemy, and practice alchemy. Although he had a lot of things to do, it gave him a sense of fullness. Wang Jinshi and Long Shui sat together as they leaned against each other. Long Shui also liked Wang Jinshi a lot, so she took out her treasured holy fruit and some delicious meat. She made Chen Shang start a fire, then relied on fish and various types of beast meat. When it came to eating, Wang Jinshi had better not think about it. He took out the good things he brought along and shared them with Long Shui. Wang Jinshi laughed. After a full meal, go and kill Huo Liao and Huo Lai, the two of them. Their divine deity must be worth a lot of money. After I kill them, I will go back into closed-door cultivation and attempt to break through the bottleneck of the God of Heaven. When you see me again, I will be a god. At this moment, Wang Jinshi was extremely confident. Thinking about how Huo Liao and Huo Lai could die under her sword, she felt extremely pained in her heart, even though she hadn't went to look for them yet. After eating most of it, Long Shui entered the serene jade ring, and Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi went to look for Huo Liao and Huo Lai. Chen Shang sat on the flying discs, looked around and said, "How do I find these two fellows?" At this moment, Wang Jinshi was releasing his own cold god power. They probably haven't left yet. It is most likely that they are waiting for us at the stone forest because that is where we appeared. If we want to return, we have to go to that stone forest. The stone forest was a safe zone. After finding the bead, all one had to do was go to the stone forest and wait. When the time came, it would automatically be sent out. Wang Jinshi controlled her flying discs and flew quickly towards the stone forest. She was constantly releasing divine power. If her perception was strong, she would be able to sense things from afar. Time was running out and they were about to leave. This made Wang Jinshi even more anxious. She and Chen Shang were circling around the stone forest every day. Suddenly, Wang Jinshi sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. "Quickly hide, they are here." As expected, they are waiting for us in the forest. They were outside the stone forest, but Huo Lao's ice magic power had already been sensed by Huo Liao and Huo Lai, so they quickly rushed over. Chen Shang used the 72 changes and released a space domain to hide at the same time. He turned into a bird and flew towards a forest far away. Wang Jinshi kept her flying discs and looked at the two balls of flame that were shooting towards her. She did not expect that at the last moment, Huo Liao and Huo Lai would actually appear by themselves. "Little girl, you've recovered quite well. From the looks of it, you have come to find me for revenge. Where is that brat?" Huo Liao laughed disdainfully. "That brat couldn't possibly be unable to defend against my flame power, right?" Wang Jinshi took out the smoke sword. His face darkened, his divine sword shook, the terrifying sword concept suddenly appeared. Last time, Huo Liao and Huo Lai felt it too, but in the end, they still stopped Wang Jinshi and did not let her carry out her final attack. Chen Shang carefully observed Wang Jinshi from afar. He wanted to see how the god-murdering sword techniques looked like in the end. Chapter 18-19. As one of the taboo magic, the god-murdering sword techniques was what most gods wanted to obtain, because it was much easier to learn than the heavenly alchemy. Legends said that the heavenly alchemy was the hardest to master, while the god-murdering sword techniques was the easiest. Huo Liao and Huo Lai had a tacit understanding with each other. When they attacked together, they would merge together and become stronger. In order to prevent Wang Jinshi from using such a terrifying sword technique, the two brothers slashed at the same time. The fire energy that surged out from the blade was extremely violent, but when the two flame blade energies clashed, they did not produce any form of rejection, and perfectly merged together, becoming even more powerful, as though lightning was striking at Wang Jinshi. Although their blades had changed, their speed was still very fast. It was hard for Wang Jinshi to dodge, but the smoke sword in her hands slashed across with an unbelievable speed. What was astonishing was that after the flame was split apart, it quickly dissipated without any aftershocks. HMPH. Last time, I was just worried. Since all of you are so ruthless, then I won't care too much. I will make it so that you won't even have the chance to go to hell. The extremely furious Wang Jinshi looked extremely calm on the surface, but the smoke sword in his hand suddenly moved, and his sword strangely floated past. It was extremely fast, but what was hard to understand was that Wang Jinshi had actually disappeared, and there was only one smoke sword dancing in the air. However, when Wang Jinshi appeared, a streak of blood appeared on the foreheads of Huo Liao and Huo Lai. Wang Jinshi was still standing at his original position. This is the god-murdering sword techniques. Chen Shang had already obtained the god-murdering sword techniques from Wang Jinshi, but he did not learn it. He did not know what it was like, but after seeing it now, he felt extremely shocked. God slaughtering. Impossible, it can't be the God-murdering sword techniques. Just as Huo Lai finished his sentence, a red line appeared on his neck and his head fell off. Huo Liao saw that he was about to press his hand on his head anxiously. There was a line of blood on his neck that was already cut, but for some reason, it was only cut off now. So that's how it is. I understand, this is the fast and slow transformation within the 7 devils slain Kung Fu. This God-murdering sword techniques must also have a way to break through the power of the ancient code. Senior sister disappeared just now because she broke through the laws of space and her head was severed just now. She should have broken through the laws of time. Chen Shang suddenly realized, of course, that the most powerful sword chi was that terrifying sword chi. It was formless and soundless, but it was extremely powerful. Huo Liao and Huo Lai were both elite gods among the Fire Divine Palace, and definitely had expensive high-grade divine armor on them. Their bodies were also extremely tough, but Wang Jinshi had casually slashed their heads off with just 2 swords. Die. Just as Wang Jinshi was about to kill Huo Liao, a purple light suddenly appeared in his palm. A thunderous sound rang out, shaking the entire world. The exploding purple light produced a terrifying heat, and as the purple light shone down, the surrounding vegetation, mountains and rivers, in the blink of an eye, were all destroyed. In order to avoid the ball of purple light, Wang Jinshi had no choice but to use his God-murdering sword techniques' special ability to break through the incoming force, and the light caused Chen Zhang's skin to burn even more painfully. The purple light disappeared, and when Chen Shang opened his eyes, he only saw an injured Wang Jinshi vomiting blood that floated down. The God-murdering sword techniques she used just now, she should have done her best. Who knew that such a situation would happen? Long Shui said. Chen Shang immediately flew over, caught the fallen Wang Jinshi, and quickly killed him. Then, he took out his divine deity. This bastard actually used such a powerful deity talisman. Wang Jinshi wiped off the blood from the corner of his mouth and said anxiously to Chen Shang, "Quickly go chase that guy, he has already escaped. If he is allowed to leave this place alive, he will definitely leak out the news of me possessing the God-murdering sword techniques." Wang Jinshi had only been injured by the attack just now. Now, after taking a breather, she was already able to move. Chen Shang brought her and used teleportation to chase after the fleeing Huo Liao. Very quickly, they entered the stone forest. Because the competition wasn't going to end long ago, a small spatial passageway appeared within the stone forest. Damn it, I let this guy run away. Wang Jinshi gritted his teeth as he cursed, his expression becoming extremely ugly. This is it. Without a second word, Chen Shang brought Wang Jinshi and charged through the spatial tunnel and appeared in one of the great halls of the all-divine palaces. At this moment, many gods and disciples were waiting there, and Chen Shang and his group seemed to be the last group. Master, I saw the God-murdering sword techniques. Huo Liao was extremely frightened, his finger trembling. He pointed at Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi who had just came out. His head was still missing, but he had used his hand to hold them down, causing his head to not fall. The 4 words, God-murdering sword techniques, seemed to possess a breathtaking magic power. When the gods present heard it, they felt as if their souls had been struck, because they had not heard of this terrifying sword technique in a long time. Originally, they did not dare believe it, but now, when they carefully felt the trace of sword intent Huo Liao was participating in, all of the divine gods trembled in their hearts. This kind of familiar sword intent had once shrouded them in endless fear. Afterwards, all the divine gods looked towards Wang Jinshi and Chen Shang. They didn't know who used the God-murdering sword techniques yet, but they felt that it was very possible that it was Chen Shang. Chen Shang suddenly sensed the undulations from Wang Jinshi's body and anxiously shouted, "This bastard wants to kill us all while he's inside, and even knows the whereabouts of our bead. He has already broken the rules, die." Finished speaking, the ancient sword suddenly appeared in Chen Zhang's hand, which was the one he named the God-slaughtering sword. Following that, a terrifying and berserk sword concept appeared, enveloping the entire hall. Even Wang Jinshi was shaken. She did not understand how Chen Shang could suddenly possess such a terrifying god-killing sword. It was something that only she and her sword godfather could do. Even if Chen Shang had learned the god-murdering sword techniques, without the inheritance of the god-slaughtering blood, it was impossible for him to have it. She knew this very clearly. Chen Shang himself didn't know why he suddenly comprehended god-murdering sword techniques. He only knew that he couldn't let the other gods know that Wang Jinshi was the sword god's daughter, so he felt that it would be better for him to take responsibility for this matter. Chen Zhang's god-killing sword was extremely terrifying, even a bit more powerful than Wang Jinshi's. Chapter 1820. New Year's Eve. I wish everyone a happy new year and money and girls. At this time, the image of the sword strike Wang Jinshi used to kill Huo Lai earlier appeared in his mind. That was because he had used the power of the laws of space and time, and the 7 devil-slain Kung Fu that he had previously cultivated had also been learned in the area of time. This sword attack was extremely inconceivable. He felt that at that moment, the surroundings had become very slow. He could even clearly see the fire god slowly walking over, and the flames on the fire god's body also very slowly appeared. The fire god didn't walk over, but quickly flashed by. However, in Chen Zhang's eyes, he appeared very slow and every step was extremely difficult. After using the god-murdering sword techniques, Chen Shang felt that everything around him was incredibly slow. Everyone seemed to be frozen in place, their expressions frozen, their floating hair also hanging in the air, and only the fire god slowly walked over. In this hall, only Chen Shang could move at a normal speed. Chen Shang himself quickly understood this point, so when he saw the fire god approaching, he immediately rushed over and sliced Huo Lao's sword into 8 pieces, then took out Huo Lao's divine deity and returned to his original position. But in everyone's eyes, Chen Shang had disappeared just now, and only the sword started to move strangely, exactly the same as when Chen Shang saw Wang Jinshi brandishing out his sword just now. When Chen Shang appeared in front of everyone's eyes, they all knew that Huo Liao was already dead. Huo Liao looked to be fine, but was already speechless. His soul had already been destroyed by Chen Shang, and when Fire Divine Palace rushed over, Huo Liao suddenly dropped to the ground in a few pieces. Huo Lao's death did not feel strange to the divine gods. It even made them feel like it had been a long time. This was one of the most terrifying sword moves in the god-murdering sword techniques, the space-time style. Chen Shang, who originally wanted to speak out, became even more dumbstruck. She understood that Chen Shang had done so in order to not let the divine gods of the divine hall suspect her, so that she wouldn't be in so much trouble in the future. Although devil-killing heavenly god looked to be shocked, his sharp eyes seemed to flash with a look that made people want to think, as though he was excited. He was the fastest and immediately rushed to Chen Zhang's side, as though he wanted to prevent Chen Shang from being attacked by the fire god. The furious fire god, the long white beard was already burning with fire. At this time, a tall and sturdy man suddenly came to Chen Zhang's side, thinking that he wanted to punish Chen Shang, but who knew that he did not reveal that kind of stern expression, as though he wanted to protect Chen Shang too. This is the all-divine palaces. As the penalty heavenly god, I am specially responsible for this kind of thing. I absolutely cannot let you guys mess around here and disrupt order. Penalty heavenly god's low voice swept a glance at the fire god and the god of fortune who were about to make a move. The appearance of the god-murdering sword techniques caused many of the divine gods who had given up on stealing Chen Zhang's heavenly alchemy to have the idea of capturing Chen Shang rise once again. The heavenly alchemy was hard to refine, and even if one managed to obtain it, it would be extremely difficult to comprehend its essence. But god-murdering sword techniques was different. As long as one was a god, with their many years of cultivation, it was much easier to cultivate them. Everyone could clearly see that Chen Shang used the forbidden god-murdering sword techniques to kill my Fire Divine Palace's disciple. I remember that there was a rule in the past, this kind of taboo magic was not allowed to be used, so you should be clear whether that was the god-murdering sword techniques just now or not. Back then, you were also heavily injured by the evil demon sword. The penalty heavenly god said coldly. Whether or not the god-murdering sword techniques is prohibited, there is no such rule in all divine palaces. It is only because the weak feared this sword technique that they decided to use it. I know that Chen Shang killed Huo Liao at the beginning, and Fire Divine Palace has already committed a grave breach. Penalty heavenly god waved his hand and released a curtain. The scene of Huo Liao and Huo Lai ambushing Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi appeared inside the curtain. I don't know how they found the hiding place of the devil-suppressing Divine Palace's pearl, but if they did that, it would be a grave violation of the rules. The penalty heavenly god had such records at every single point. They could even hear the conversation between Huo Liao and Huo Lai. After the devil-killing heavenly god finished looking through, he said furiously, "Who gave them the map? The punishment, and the location of the pearl was all placed by you." Devil-killing heavenly god releasing such vicious words was already showing no mercy. It could be seen how angry devil-killing heavenly god was at this moment, that he would say such words to penalty heavenly god. At this time, Hall Master Zhang Gaoshan suddenly laughed heartily. Since Fire Divine Palace was the one who violated the rules first, and almost caused the disciples of Devil-Killing Divine Palace to lose their lives, this disciple of Devil-Killing Divine Palace has chased out to seek revenge, and this is also the extent of the rule. I think this matter will end here. Seeing Zhang Gao's smiling face and helping everyone, Chen Shang and Wang Jinshi was even more certain that this matter was related to him. He was worried that if they continued to investigate, they would implicate him, so he said this. The Devil-Killing Heavenly God and the Penalty Heavenly God were definitely aware of this matter. They never thought that Zhang Gushan would actually be so daring to do such a thing. If not for the fact that Chen Shang and Chen Shang had sufficient strength, they might already be dead. We got 5 beads. Wang Jinshi handed the pearl over to Devil-Killing Heavenly God, who handed it over to him. It's the pearl I placed, with the highest total score in the Devil-Killing Divine Palace. Devil-Killing Divine Palace will be able to get first place in this competition, and will be able to enter the highest point in the Devil-Killing Divine Palace, where there will be a reward. The Penalty Heavenly God announced. Chen Shang looked at Xiao Chou, Ren Tianyang and the others. They seemed to be in a sorry state, and were not injured at all. Devil-Killing Heavenly God came in front of the God of Fortune and extended his hand. You have lost. According to our bet, you have to give me 100 billion God of War. Of course, it's fine if you don't. I'm not afraid of declaring war on both Hell Divine Palace and your Wealth Divine Palace. This Devil-Killing Heavenly God was about to go crazy. He actually dared to say such arrogant words. Just now, they had already formed an enmity with him, and before, they even had enmity with him. Of course the Wealth Divine Palace was not afraid of the Devil-Killing Divine Palace, but if he were to renege on the bet, he would definitely become a huge laughingstock for the God's realm in the future. Here you are, you can receive the divine money from any native bank. The God of Fortune gave Penalty Heavenly God a jade token, and then coldly looked at Chen Shang, and took his Wealth Divine Palace disciples away. When Devil-Killing Heavenly God came, he was very confident that they could win, but it was only such an outstanding result, which surprised him very much, especially Chen Zhang's performance.